Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto Uzumaki became the disciple of the Sage of Six Paths, Naruto times Hanabi times Hinata times Anko times Tsunade times Yugito times Kurama times Kurenai times Shizune times Tamari times Tenten times Samui, Bloodline and Harem Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. It was October 10th and in a secluded part of the surrounding forest there was a mob beating a defenseless 7-year-old child. This child was Naruto Uzumaki, the pariah of the village hidden in leaves. The villagers had cornered Naruto after running after him for a good hour. Right now they were walking away from a bloody, bruised, and impaled Naruto. Naruto was up against a tree with kunai in his hands and feet pinning him to the tree. Naruto had his shirt ripped where a large deep gash coming from a corner of his chest to his hip was clearly visible. Naruto also had a kunai lodged within his stomach, blood profusely pouring out of the wound as he just stared blankly at the retreating forms of the villagers who had just injured him to such an extent. Why do they do this to me? What have I ever done them? They call me demon brat. They tell me to die, what for? What drives them to such a goal to have me killed? Naruto thought to himself while streams of tears cascaded down his face. Hey, just kill me. I'm sick of this torture. Just kill me, go on, do it. Naruto screamed while fighting to stay conscious from the pain that wreaked havoc in his body. Demon, shut your mouth. We'll kill you when we want to. For now though you're going to stay there till somebody finds you. Oh yeah, good luck with the wolves, they might be drawn to your blood. The seeming leader of the mob spoke. Naruto started crying even harder and started to wail in agony and pain. Please, however, I heal so quickly, so don't work. I just want my life to be over. I can't stand this pain. Naruto thought to himself. Naruto felt something in his mind. Something that seemed like it was hurting or sad. The feeling had a muffled feeling, almost like the true strength of whatever it was wasn't shining out to its potential. That is until he heard screaming in his mind. Naruto Uzumaki, if you ever wish for death or plead for somebody to grant you that wish, I will personally put you through the hardest training regime that you will ever go through. Now shut up and go talk to your sensei while I heal your wounds. The voice spoke in a commanding tone, leaving no room for argument. Naruto was scared even more so than what the villagers could ever cause. After the voice had stopped talking and everything was quiet, Naruto let out a blood-curdling scream as he felt as if his eyes were being slowly cut from his sockets. Naruto blacked out, slumping with his head forward, causing the kunai to rip out of the tree, leaving Naruto with a kunai still in his hands and feet with a single kunai plunged in his stomach. In Naruto's mindscape, Naruto awoke in a strange place. The atmosphere of the room was warm and inviting while the room itself was made of brick, cold and hard. Naruto stood up, noticing none of the previous injury he had sustained from the villagers attacking him were on his body. Hello? Anybody there? Naruto asked to the room. Naruto wasn't expecting an answer as he figured he was dead and this was just a place Kami kept people like him, demons. Naruto had been influenced by the villagers, for he thought of himself as demon even though he knew deep down it wasn't true, but found that to be the only explanation to why so many people wanted him dead. So when Naruto did hear a response, it was frightening, even though the voice was like the atmosphere of the room was warm and inviting. Ah, Naruto, I finally get to meet you. The voice called out. My name is Raikudo, but you can call me Raikudo-sensei. Raikudo finished warmly while revealing himself. Raikudo was around 6 feet 3 with white hair, purple glowing eyes, a lean muscular type body, and a warm inviting smile. Naruto was stunned. Raikudo-sensei, why would I call you that? Are you a demon just like me? Naruto asked, perplexed by this man he had never met. As soon as the man had heard demon escape Naruto's lips, his eyes took a cold and steel-like gaze. Naruto, you better shut your mouth or I will let Kyuubi assign your training regime. I better never hear you call yourself a demon again. Raikudo screamed out. Naruto gawked at his supposed sensei. Raikudo-sensei, aren't I a demon? That's what everybody or well most people call me. Raikudo got even angrier and strode toward Naruto and grabbed Naruto by his shirt, effectively lifting him in the air. Naruto, what did I just say? Naruto was fear-stricken, but managed out an answer. Never call myself a demon again. That's right, your father would be ashamed to see his only son calling himself a demon, and I will not allow a son of one of the only friends I ever had to announce himself as a demon. Is that understood? Raikudo asked. Naruto had one question on his mind. You knew my father? Naruto asked his Raikudo. Raikudo smiled at this and set Naruto gently down into a sitting position, while Raikudo sat down as well. Yes, I did. What I tell you here must never be uttered to another person unless I give you go ahead. This information only your Gigi knows and his old teammates. Do you agree to that term? Raikudo asked. Naruto starred for a while, but eventually answered. Yes, Raikudo-sensei, I agree to the term. Please tell me who my father is and how you knew him. Naruto asked. Raikudo smiled at Naruto and nodded. Well, first let me explain who I am. My name is Raikudo, as you know, but I am also known as the Sage of Six Paths. I was the strongest ninja, so to say, that this world has ever seen. I divided the 10-tailed Biju into 9 different Biju, so the world would be better off after I had died, but during a meditation session I could see hundreds of years into the future. I saw the Biju all being reconnected, recreating the 10 tails, so I stored my powers into my blood. The reason being that when I met my descendant that I saw from my vision, I could activate my power and give my descendant my Dujutsu, Kekai Genkai, and my nature affinities. Oddly enough, though, you already have my nature affinities, though that is more than likely because of you being almost like a reincarnate of me. Reincarnate in the sense of you being a great sage like me, and Kami, seeing that you could possibly be even stronger than me, decided to give you advantages in case I didn't give you my blessing. Raikudo told him while taking a breath, then continuing. Yes, Kami knows why I did this. She gave me consent and the jutsu to entrap my power and myself in my bloodline so that I could teach my student as well as give him or her my power. Now let me get to the reason how I know and became a good friend of your father. You see, I interact with my descendants and I found that your father fit the description almost perfectly. Blonde, unruly hair, blue eyes, an immense sense of potential, so I decided to speak with him. You see, I don't have to give a descendant I speak to my power, it is my choice, so I spoke with your father and he was just like you, speechless as I told him everything. I noticed something though, your father almost fit the description. He didn't have the birthmark one saw on my prophecy child. You see, your whisker marks are like my horns. Raikudo told Naruto while pointing up at his horns. They are marks that show we have potential to be something greater than a normal person could be. I do not know why this is. Kind of weird if you ask me, that extraordinary birth marks show greatness. Anyways, Kami came to me and told me my suspicions were true. That the boy I had taken such a liking to was not the child of my prophecy, but the father. So I did all I could to enhance your father's skills. I gave him training regimes, jutsu training, speed, strength, chakra control training, and your father turned out to be an amazing shinobi, who was admired and feared by all ninja in the world. Although he wasn't my disciple, I still saw him as one of my closest and only friends that I had ever had, so I trusted him and told him a secret. I told him that his son would be the person of my prophecy, and he was shocked to hear he was going to have a son, but eventually accepted it, delighted that he would have a son who would accomplish so much and become so strong even to rival me. Now let me tell you who your father was. Your father was none other than the 4th Hokage, the Yondaime Hokage. Raikudo finally finished his long speech with Naruto accepting and absorbing every piece of information that came from his new sensei, that is until he heard who his father was. Raikudo-sensei, thank you for telling me everything about my father and what I am to become. I'm to know that my father was such an admired person and that he took down the Kyuubi, the second most powerful Biju to have ever lived other than the 10 tens. Naruto told Raikudo. Raikudo rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. You're welcome, Naruto, but I have to tell you something. You know what, never mind, I'll show you. Kyuubi, come in her. Raikudo yelled. A new person came in and tackled Naruto so he was laying on the ground and instantly wrapped him into a hug. The person who just tackled Naruto was a beautiful woman. She had shoulder-length crimson silky hair. She looked to be about 15 or 16, although Naruto could already feel some large assets squishing into his chest. From the hug, Naruto could tell that she had a very beautiful body. Wow, beautiful. Naruto thought to himself. Excuse me, Kyuubi, right? May I know why you are hugging me so fiercely and why you are here? Naruto asked. The Kyuubi smiled and let go. Sitting right next to Naruto, she began to speak. Well, Naruto, for one, I am the Kyuubi, but please call me Narumi as that's my real name. I am here because I was sealed inside you by your father, and where here is as were in a part of your mind that is secluded to my cage. Now please let me explain why I was attacking your village. I was attacking your village because, well, I honestly don't remember. I remember being forced out of your mother and running to the forest. I went to a cave on the outskirts of Konoha. Then I remember seeing some slitted yellow eyes as well as a pair of Sharingan. Then I was in here. Narumi told him sadly. As for the reason why I hugged is because I happy you didn't die, but if you ever, and I mean ever, wish for death again, I will absolutely put you through the hardest workout you will ever encounter. Do I make myself clear? Narumi asked. Naruto was taken back from her protectiveness for him. Narumi, I understand, but why do you care so much, and were you sealed inside my mother, and why did you hug me? Naruto asked curiously. Narumi sadly smiled. Well, Naruto-kun, I have grown to admire you, always striving forward, never letting people's words truly get you down. Your determination and self-confidence has made me admire you, and I just don't wish to see somebody that I admire so much wish for death is all. As for your second question, yes, I was sealed inside your mother. She was also a very incredible ninja. You see, the Uzumaki females are able to control Biju for some odd reason relatively well, the best out of all clans, to be honest. She was my last container, and actually she and I were very good friends. She would always talk about how she was going to train and watch over you when she was pregnant with you, but when you were born the seal weakened so much that I was expelled out. I had no idea what was going on, so I ran as fast as I could. I have no idea what happened to your mother. All I know is that I miss her terribly. As for your third question, I was just relieved that you are still alive. You took a lot of damage, but don't worry, you're in the care of your Gigi right now. I'm pretty sure that he took you to a hospital. On another note, I can't wait to see what happens when Raikudo infuses you with his power. Oh my Kami, it's going to be exciting. You will never have to worry about being hurt by a villager or a ninja again, because Raikudo and I will train you until you are the most powerful shinobi this world has ever seen. Right, Raikudo? Narumi asked Raikudo. Raikudo smiled sadly. Well, actually, Narumi, when I give Naruto my power, I will only have enough power to be live in Naruto's mind for another year, but none of that matters as we will have you extremely powerful even if you will only be 8 when I have to go. I need to tell you, Naruto, of the finer details of what will happen. First off, you will gain my Dujutsu. Don't worry, Narumi here knows all about it, and by the time I have to leave, if you still have questions, Narumi can answer them. Anyways, with my Dujutsu, once you usually gain the Rinnegan, your eyes stay like that. However, I have tampered with my genetics a little and I have seemed to make it even more powerful, along with you being able to shift from the Dujutsu to your blue eyes. The reason why I changed that aspect is so nobody will suspect you of having the most powerful and rare Dujutsu this world has ever seen. Be warned though, your eyes will feel like they were being slowly pulled out of the socket, as you may have felt, because I started the procedure when you proceeded to pass out. For my Kekai Genkai, I had two. They were called Wood Release and Storm Release. They are the most powerful and useful Kekai Genkai I have ever come across. You will inherit these Kekai Genkai. Now for your body and chakra. Your body will grow a couple of inches and gain much more definition, creating a perfect limber and agile body for the taijutsu I and Narumi will teach you. Your chakra will grow exponentially, even more so than you have right now, and you have much more than most Junin have. You will more than likely have as much chakra as 2 cages. Do not interrupt me yet. Raikudo told Naruto and Narumi, who were looking like they were about to interrupt his story. Raikudo continued, seeing that they both stopped their question. Now as for your chakra control, you will have chakra control the level of a cage. So I suggest as soon as you wake up that you mask your chakra to that of a genin. Now though Naruto, I see that a group of children below you in the academy when you are enrolled will be very powerful allies. So I suggest you flunk the last year of the academy. Now before you ask me why the hell would I ever flunk a exam on purpose, hear me out. I believe you should flunk for these reasons. If you gain power too quickly in the eyes of the Civilian Council, then they will send assassins after you, or they will capture you and put you in a program raising you to be a mindless killing machine with no emotions. That is why I suggest you flunk your graduation exam, and also if you fail the first time it won't be raising any suspicion for excuse me for what I'm about to say. How the demon brat got so strong with nobody to love or teach him. I'm very sorry for what I just said, Naruto. Putting that aside, there are two people I saw in my vision, prophecy, that shall help you become a better shinobi as well as a better person. I'm not sure who they are, I don't even know their names, all I know is that one has lavender or pearl eyes, I'm not sure. The other has short spiky brown hair. When you meet a female that fits my description, do not get annoyed when you meet her. In my vision I sensed she was kind of, how to put this, arrogant or smug, or she thinks she's the end all be all. Do not think that you will be subjugated to a bunch of younger people. I did see allies in your age group, just none that will influence you as much as the two who are younger than you. Now then, you will be placed on the same team as one of them, not sure which, so it would be a wise decision to become friends with the people on your team, for if you two team up I see that you both will carry each other to even a farther level than my prophecy foretold. Raikudo told Naruto, yes, I'm going to be so strong. Most powerful shinobi in history. Watch out, Raikudo sensei, I'm going for your title. Naruto yelled excitedly while Narumi and Raikudo smiled. Now that your outburst is over, you have about 10 minutes left until you wake up, but don't worry, Narumi and I will keep a mental chat open with you, Naruto, for any questions. Also ask your Gigi to join the academy class now. Raikudo told Naruto with a smile. Wait, Raikudo sensei, let me get this straight. You want me join the academy, then for my last year flunk the academy to get into the group of students that will be below me? Then you think that I should be friends with two people so I gain power? Is that right? You want me to basically use them, because if that is the case then I will not follow that advice. Sorry, I'm sorry into using people. Naruto told his sensei. Raikudo's sweat dropped. Yes, you need to join the academy and flunk your last year, and for how you put that last question. It does seem like I was suggesting for you to use them. No, that was not what I was getting to. I was simply suggesting you be friends with them since they will both force you to excel even quicker. A little side note though, since you have so much chakra you will not be able to use genjutsu, just saying. Now Naruto, wake up, your Gigi is worried sick. We will begin your training when you go to sleep tonight. Raikudo told Naruto as he expelled Naruto from his mind. Narumi-chan, control yourself. I know that you want to be with Naruto, because you see him as the only possible mate. You need somebody strong and self-determined, but calm down and wait for him to grow. Raikudo told his friend. Raikudo-kun, how did you know? I didn't think I was that obvious, and plus I covered it up pretty well. Narumi told Raikudo. Raikudo sighed. I have been friends with you since I divided the 10 tails and I saw those looks that you were giving Naruto. Listen, his training comes first. If you still feel the same way when he graduates, then I give you permission to tell him about it. If he confesses to you before that, then you have permission to accept his confession and you two can be a couple. I will teach Naruto everything I know about seals and he will know how to unseal you from him, for I know that you have liked him since before I made my presence known. Raikudo told him oldest friend. Narumi blushed and gasped at the information. Raikudo-kun, I do not just want to get out. If that's what you're thinking, then don't. Plus, how would you even get the idea of him liking a demon who ruined his life? Narumi asked Raikudo. Narumi-chan, Naruto was stealing glances at you just as much, if not more than you stealing glances at him. Raikudo explained. Narumi got a slight sliver of hope and held onto it for dear life. In the hospital, the Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen had been sitting right by Naruto's bed after finding him in his crystal ball and getting to where Naruto was. Sarutobi found Naruto passed out and took him to the hospital worried for his adopted grandson. Sarutobi deep in thought suddenly felt a huge blast of chakra that almost scared him, but then it was suddenly gone as he looked up he saw Naruto sitting up in his bed. Hey Gigi. Thanks for the help. Can I join the academy? Naruto asked hopefully while Sarutobi sat there stunned. Where did that come from? Sarutobi asked himself. The Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen had been sitting right by Naruto's bed after finding him in his crystal ball and getting to where Naruto was. Sarutobi found Naruto passed out and took him to the hospital worried for his adopted grandson. Sarutobi deep in thought suddenly felt a huge blast of chakra that almost scared him, but then it was suddenly gone as he looked up he saw Naruto sitting up in his bed. Hey Gigi. Thanks for the help. Can I join the academy? Naruto asked hopefully while Sarutobi sat there stunned. Where did that come from? Sarutobi asked himself. Naruto, how are you feeling? Sarutobi asked. Well Gigi, I'm well fine I guess. What happened? How did you find me and what about me joining the academy can I? Naruto asked. Sarutobi gave a sad smile. Naruto, you were attacked by the villagers again. I found you using a special item I have. Naruto, why do you want to join the academy all of a sudden? Sarutobi asked Naruto curiously. Naruto gave a thoughtful look. Naruto, don't tell the Hokage the real reason. He wouldn't believe you. Just tell him that you wish to learn to protect yourself and to finally start your journey for the Hokage hat. Raikudo told Naruto. Naruto jumped a little when he heard the voice. Oh Raikudo-sensei, it's just you. Thanks for telling me what to say. I had no idea what to tell my Gigi. I feel kinda bad about lying to him though, but just to ask before I forget. Why do I have to join the academy with my age group? Why can't I just not join until next year so I'll be with the kids that I'll find my allies in? Naruto asked Raikudo in thought. Well, you see Naruto, you want to be underestimated. You will more than likely be the most powerful ninja this world has ever seen and even able to compete with Anbu in a year or 2 years. The more idiotic you act, the more you will be underestimated. Just make sure to flunk every test even if you know every answer. Also, when you have kunai and shuriken throwing tests, just hit 1 or 2, then you will be really looked upon as a weakling. I'm sorry you have to do this, but look at the bright side, by the time you become a genin you could probably be as strong as a Hokage and you'll only be 13 years old. Once you flunk the first year, then you will be able to step up your game, but only to mid-ranked in the class. I don't want you drawing attention to yourself until you are strong enough to fight off any enemies that you might encounter. Raikudo explained to Naruto. Wow gee, thanks Raikudo-sensei. I get to act like an idiot and wait, you know what? I'll have a ridiculous crush on a girl that hates me. That could actually be fun, but who? I'll just wait until the time comes. Naruto told Raikudo enthusiastically. Happy he might be able to have some fun while doing this. Raikudo chuckled at this. Naruto, that's a good idea, but you might want to stop talking to me. Your Gigi is getting worried with all the facial expressions you're making. Raikudo told Naruto with a laugh at the Hokage's what the hell is he doing face. Oh sorry Gigi, I was spacing out. I want to join the academy to learn how to defend myself and to start my journey to becoming Hokage and taking that hat from you, old man. Naruto replied with a grin. Sarutobi gave a laugh and a smile. Well, in that case Naruto, I'll sign you up right away. You'll start tomorrow. The academy starts at 7 a.m. so don't be late. I have a question though, why were you out of your apartment? I thought you always stayed in your apartment when it's your birthday. Sarutobi asked. Naruto gave a sheepish smile. Well Gigi, I kinda got hungry and I didn't have any food, so I went to Ichiraku's ramen stand, and after I had finished eating I was heading back to my apartment when a mob spotted me. I ran, but was caught then. Well, you know what happened next. Sarutobi gave a sad smile and a nod. I'm truly sorry, Naruto. I should have been there for you. If it wasn't for that damn council, I would have been. Sarutobi explained. Naruto gave a dismissive gesture. It's all good, Gigi. As you can, I'm fine now, but can we leave? I hate hospitals. Naruto asked, hoping he could leave this wretched place. Sarutobi gave a nod and went over to Naruto's clean clothes and handed them to him. Here you go, Naruto. Sarutobi said. Thanks, Gigi. Naruto told Sarutobi as he got out of bed and put on his clothes. Sarutobi noticed the height immediately. Hey Naruto, you got a lot taller since the last time I saw you. It's about time you were such a shrimp. Sarutobi said jokingly. Naruto gave a smile and laughed. Yeah, I was glad that I finally grew. Now let's go, Gigi, I hate this place. Naruto told Sarutobi. Naruto and Sarutobi both walked out of the room and headed towards the checkout area. Sarutobi started signing the release forms while Naruto looked around. He saw many people staring at him, but it wasn't hateful glares, it was a look that said, what the hell happened to him? Naruto laughed and shook his head. Guess they don't know what to say about my new body. Naruto thought. Naruto and Sarutobi walked out of the hospital with Sarutobi heading to the Hokage Tower and Naruto heading towards his apartment. Bye, Gigi. I'll see you later, Naruto yelled as he started to run home. Bye, Naruto. Sarutobi yelled back. Naruto was running in the street, marveled at his new speed. Raikudo-sensei, what is this? Why am I so much faster? I feel stronger too. Naruto asked. Well, Naruto, it has to do with my dujutsu. You see, my dujutsu is by far the most powerful when used correctly, and yours is even stronger than mine was. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but with my tampering I somehow added another level of the Rinnegan. I'm not sure what it is, all I know is that it's very powerful. Oh, by the way, Naruto, all you have to do to activate your Rinnegan is to focus chakra into your eyes. Controlling chakra should come naturally to you since your chakra control is so high from my gift. You might not understand chakra, but since I bestowed my gifts upon you, you automatically have the knowledge on how to control it. I'm not sure how to explain it other than that. You don't have knowledge on how to use your Kekkei Genkai, but you do have knowledge on how to use the basics of the Rinnegan. I'm almost positive that you won't have to use it for quite some time though. Nevertheless, I will teach you how to properly wield the Rinnegan for when you must use it. Raikudo told Naruto. Hey Raikudo-sensei, you ever realize that you kinda ramble on and plus you didn't even answer my questions? Naruto stated. Raikudo rubbed the back of his head. Sorry, Naruto. Basically, since I gave you the Rinnegan, your body had to adapt to use it. So you got taller and stronger. The reason why you became stronger is because your body had to be strong enough to use the Rinnegan without destroying itself. As for why you got taller, I have no idea. Maybe Kami felt bad for you and decided to make you taller. Raikudo told Naruto with a grin. Ha 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 ha, very funny, sensei. It was so funny that I just forgot to laugh. Naruto stated angrily. Naruto hurried up and got to his apartment. As Naruto got closer to his apartment door, he noticed writing on the wall. It read, Demon Brat Die. And I'm going to kill you, demon. Naruto shook his head and took out his apartment key. Naruto unlocked the door and entered the apart, closing and locking the door behind him. Ah, I'm back home, awesome. Naruto said to himself. Ah, quit your bitching, Naruto. Now then, for your training, you'll only be training in your mindscape. I do not want anybody seeing what you're doing. Raikudo told Naruto. Now get to bed so we can begin your training. Naruto stripped his t-shirt and shorts off and climbed in bed, immediately falling asleep. Naruto awoke in a huge concrete room. Where am I? Naruto asked. Ah, Naruto, glad you came so quickly. Now we're starting your training. Now you are to do a 20-mile run with chakra weights, 2,000 push-ups, 1,600 pull-ups, 2,200 squat jumps, 3,000 squats, and finish off with a 30-mile run with chakra weights. That will be your training for the next 6 months. After that, I will begin jutsu theory and teach you how to use wood release and storm release. Raikudo told Naruto. Naruto paled and felt ill. How the hell am I going to do that? Do you want me to die? Asked a scared Naruto. Oh, shut up, Naruto. You won't die, your body isn't that out of shape since your body changed. I'm just trying to get you ready for the training Narumi has planned for you when I leave. Raikudo told Naruto, now get your moving. Naruto immediately got to work. He started with his 20-mile run, then his push-ups, pull-ups, squat jumps, squats, and finishing off with his 30 miles run. 20 hours later, Naruto was covered in sweat, laying on the ground gasping for air. You son of a bitch. Naruto managed to yell out between breaths. How the hell is this even going to transfer over to my real body? This is only my mind. Naruto asked. Raikudo, who had been watching him work for a while, then went to bed, woke up just before Naruto finished, was smirking. Well, Naruto, I have a jutsu that Narumi will teach you later. The jutsu is incredibly complicated, so I'll just give it to you simply. The jutsu takes a copy of your current body in your mindscape and sends it to your brain. From there your brain thinks that you worked out and starts tearing the muscles, then starts to rebuild them like your body should. The process is way more complex than that. There's chain reactions and chakras involved, but I gave it to you simply. It took me years to even understand it, and I don't have years to explain you one jutsu. Raikudo told Naruto. You won't be sore, by the way. Narumi will use her chakra to enhance the healing procedure. So you'll grow exponentially in strength and speed in one day from the rapid healing and no downtime. Fine, but shouldn't I be awake by now? I mean, I was working out for what, 19, 20, 21 hours? Naruto asked. Raikudo gave a sheepish smile and rubbed the back of his head. Well, Naruto, I got Narumi to use a jutsu called Demon Art, Mind Time Multiplier. I know, weird sounding jutsu, right? What the jutsu does is it speeds up your mind, tricking it into thinking that time is going by twice as fast. For every 1 hour outside, it's 2 hours in here. The downside to this jutsu is it makes your mind age twice as fast when the jutsu is active, which will be whenever you're in your mindscape training. Raikudo told Naruto. Wait, what's bad about that? Naruto asked. Well, since your mind will age quicker, you'll enter puberty faster and your hormones will rage at a younger age, but other than that I don't think there's anything bad about it. You'll be much wiser and level-headed at a young age, and since your mind is aging and not your body, you won't die even if your mind was at age 203 and your body was at age 18. You'll be able to think things out without emotions blocking your view, but your hormones will be a pain in the butt. So sorry for what it's worth. Raikudo told Naruto. Whatever, entering puberty a couple years sooner doesn't outweigh the fact that I'll be very wise and level-headed, as you said, for my age. Naruto told Raikudo. Okay, Naruto, you should wake up, it's your first day of class. Narumi and I will keep in touch. Raikudo told Naruto as he expelled him from the mindscape. Naruto awoke in his bed feeling stronger. Not sore or tired, but absolutely stronger. Come on, get up, you gotta go to school today. Even if you won't be graduating, goddamn sensei, an attractive demon sealed within. Ag, this is so unfair. Naruto yelled to nobody in particular. Shut up, Naruto. How many times do I have to tell you? Raikudo asked. Naruto ignored his sensei and started to put on his clothes. Sensei, these clothes are too small. I realize why everybody was staring at me. It looks like I was trying to wear an exterior skin. Naruto told his sensei. Raikudo gave a laugh. Okay, Naruto, you go to store and buy whatever clothes you want. Tell them the Hokage told you that he would pay for it. They should believe you since you're like his grandson. Raikudo told Naruto. Naruto finished getting his clothes on, as Naruto walked out the door and saw a note posted to his door. Naruto ripped the note off of his door and began to read it. Naruto, you'll be in room 134. Just show up and give the teacher this note. You're only a week behind, so no worries. Good luck. Hokage Gigi, you are to allow Naruto into your classroom and teach him fairly. If you do not, I will personally come down there and demote you to Genin while kicking your Hokage. Naruto smiled and turned his head. Naruto could see multiple villagers heading towards his apartment. God damn it. Can't I just go a day without getting chased? Naruto thought. Naruto quickly went back into his apartment, opened a window, and jumped out. Villagers. I'm so going to beat a couple of our asses this year. Naruto thought to himself as he ran to a store. Naruto, you will do such a thing. People will realize you are getting stronger and they will want to kill you. I highly doubt they could catch you now. Hell, I highly doubt even Anbu could catch you. Now, with your increased speed and your ingenuity on how to get out of sticky situations, I would put my money on you any day. So don't sweat over it and you will not attack a villager. Raikudo told his disciple. Aghhh. You aren't any fun, you know that, sensei. I will not attack any villagers though, as you command, sensei. Naruto told his sensei, annoyed he couldn't just protect himself. Naruto entered a clothing and immediately noticed an orange jumpsuit that screamed, I'm a village idiot, please come kill me. Ha 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 ha. I like your style, Naruto. Go hurry up and get a couple pairs, run back to your house full speed and then head to the academy. Naruto walked over to the clothes and smiled. Couple sizes too big, but I'll grow into them. Naruto walked over to the cash register where the man working the store finally got a good look at him. Hey demon brat, what the hell are you doing in my store? The man asked, angry to have the village pariah trudging around his shop. Naruto turned with a cold glare, making the man shiver. You listen to me, old man. I am not a demon, and if you don't let me buy these clothes I might just have to tell the Hokage. Hokage Gigi told me to bill whatever I buy to him, so how do you think he'll feel if his adopted grandson isn't allowed to buy some clothes? You think he'll shut down your shop and execute you for calling me a demon? I wonder. Naruto told the rude old man. The old man was pissed that he was outsmarted by a little kid, hell, the demon of the village to boot. Yes, sorry. Here, let me ring these up for you. The old man said as he grabbed the clothes harshly out of Naruto's hands and started to ring them up. Here you are, sir. The old man told Naruto with venom dripping from his every word. Naruto took the clothes from off the counter that they had been set on and ran full speed out the door. Naruto quickly made it home, jumping through the window he had previously come on out, decided to get dressed in his new orange jumpsuit. Very becoming of the village idiot. Naruto thought with a smile. Yes, you look like 1,000 Ryo, now hurry up and get moving, this is your first day. Raikudo told Naruto. Naruto quickly headed out the same window he had just came in through, heading towards the academy. Man, I still remember the first time I went to the academy with Gigi. That was a fun day, glad the old man had to run errands so I could go with him. Naruto thought with a smile. Naruto was amazed by how fast he got to the academy. Okay, let's see. Naruto thought as he fished the note out of one of the many pockets he had. Room 134. Naruto said to himself. Naruto walked around looking at all of the room until he stumbled across his classroom. Naruto entered the room to see the class had just started. Hello there, what can I help you with? The teacher asked. He was 5 feet 10, lean and muscular, he had white hair, long hair. Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting, I'm a new student here, the Hokage gave me a note. Naruto said as strode forward and handed the teacher the note. The teacher took the note and immediately scowled. The demon. I'll make sure to flunk him by the time graduation happens. The man thought. Okay, Naruto Uzumaki, I'm going to be your sensei, my name is Mizuki. Would you like to introduce yourself to the class? Mizuki asked. Naruto inwardly laughed. Man, this guy definitely does not like me. I see it in his eyes. Same look I get from the villagers. Naruto thought. Yeah, sure, Mizuki sensei. Hi, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen and training. I dislike many things, but I don't feel I should have to tell you. My dream is also none of your business, as I will be ridiculed for it. Naruto told the class as he walked to the back and took a seat. A kid with a dog on top of his head got angry. What was that? All he told us was his name. The kid screamed out. Yeah, I agree. A pink-haired girl screeched out. Even if he is the demon, we should know more about him so we can counter whatever he's thinking. The pink-haired girl thought. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Hey Pinky, isn't your name Sakura Haruno? Naruto asked. The now-known Sakura raised an eyebrow. Yeah, I am. What's it to you? Sakura asked. Oh, nothing. I just remember saving a girl I became friends with. Her name was Sakura. We were great friends until one day she stopped talking to me. I saw a bunch of bullies a couple years ago picking on her and decided to help. The odd thing is, when I saved her from getting beat up from 3 boys, she ran away telling me that I was a demon and I should go die. You wouldn't know anybody like that, would you? Naruto asked, angry that he now recognized his old friend. Sakura just shriveled up in her seat. Oh, okay, I see you're my ex-friend and girl I saved. Okay, well, nice to see you again. But why aren't you calling me a demon? Come on, say it. Call me a demon. Naruto yelled at her. Mizuki and the class who had been watching the incident all had a look of confusion on their face. Excuse me Naruto, ya are you yelling at Sakura L like that? A pale girl with lavender eyes asked. Naruto turned and a smile was placed on his face. Ah, Hinata-chan, good to see that you didn't lose that stutter. How have you been? Naruto asked. Hinata's face went blank, but she rose, grabbed all of her stuff and walked to the back of the room and sat next to Naruto. Mizuki and the class were confused. Alright class, enough drama for today. We'll be starting on the history of the Hokages. Mizuki told the class. Naruto immediately ignored him, hearing a voice in his head. Naruto, do not listen, I will give you my own history lesson in a blink of an eye. Raikudo told Naruto. Naruto was about to ask what he was talking about until a flood of information came in. What the hell was that? Naruto thought to himself. Oh, well, you see, with how long I have been trapped in my own blood, I have picked up a lot of knowledge when I was bored and would listen in. I hope you don't mind, I only get to do that 3 times just as warning. Raikudo told Naruto. Wait, so you're telling me that you just used one of those 3 times to give me a history lesson? Naruto asked. No, you idiot. I just gave you in-depth knowledge of almost every battle, tactic, leadership skills that the first, second and fourth Hokage ever used or were in. What that did was it gave you knowledge on how to use tactics and how to be a leader, that you would only get from many years of fighting. I gave you this knowledge because I want my disciple to be an amazing leader with tactics and know how to use battle strategies. You'll be able to be in a fight and see an attack coming, and you'll automatically know from all of the combined knowledge of the first, second and fourth what could counter it and where to place your team. Raikudo told Naruto. Naruto, I will be using this knowledge transfer 2 other times. I'll use it when I'm teaching you the wood release and storm release jutsus. Teaching you both only counts as 1 since it is classified as Kekai Genkai. Kami made rules for me on how times I could transfer knowledge and how much, and since it's classified as Kekai Genkai, I'm going to be giving you all of my jutsu on them and it will only count as 1. Ah, loopholes, gotta love them. The other time I will give you my wisdom is when I teach you my taijutsu style. The style I will teach you is the most powerful taijutsu style ever known to man, well, besides a demon style which I'm sure Narumi will teach you 1 or 2. Anyways, this style is what the Hyuga clan taijutsu and many others are based off of. Unlike the Hyuga clan taijutsu, you won't be on the ground not moving, you will be agile like the monkey taijutsu, powerful like the tiger taijutsu, and very unpredictable like the true dragon taijutsu. In close quarters combat, nobody will be able to defeat you. Raikudo finished off. Well, almost anybody. If a demon were to be unleashed and they used taijutsu on you, you would be in for a very hard fight. Raikudo finished, really stopping this time. Naruto started to shift through some memories and saw the battle of first Hokage and Madara Uchiha. This could be very cool. Naruto thought to himself. Naruto noticed the Mizuki was still talking, then looked to his side and saw a blushing Hinata Hyuga. Hinata-chan, what wrong? Naruto whispered. Hinata looked at him and Naruto could see the sadness in her eyes. Naruto, K-kun, I'm so sorry about what happened. The elders of my CCL clan told me I couldn't talk to you anymore. I'm so sorry. Hinata whispered back with a tear streaming down her face. Naruto felt terrible for making one of his only friends cry. Hinata-chan, don't worry about it, I got the letter you sent to me. I thank you for trying to keep in contact, but listen, you can't hang out with me at all this year. The reason being is because I have to flunk. I'll explain everything later when I can. I'll try to talk to you when I can, but please, I don't want you getting in trouble. Just know that we are still friends and go sit in a seat not near me. I'm sorry it has be this way. Naruto told Hinata. Hinata was about to argue, but saw the pleading and sadness in Naruto's eyes and only nodded. Hinata got up, grabbed all of her items and sat at her old seat. This got many looks wondering what happened, but all they could see was a sad-looking Naruto and a Hinata who looked like she had been crying. Baka, what did you do to Hinata? A girl with blonde hair screamed, interrupting Mizuki's speech. Naruto got a cold look in his eyes. The usual warm deep blue eyes of Naruto now looked like a frozen wasteland where life could exist, and it frightened anybody who saw his eyes. A brooding boy who had a duck hairstyle was even afraid. Hey Dobi, stop, answer her question. This brooding boy told him. You will not demand anything of me. I'm guessing you're an Uchiha, and by the looks of it Itachi's younger brother, so that could only mean you're Sasuke. Why don't you stay out of mine and Hinata-chan's business? Naruto told Sasuke. And you blondie, I do not like to be accused of things and being called a baka. I suggest you mind your own business as well. Naruto told the blonde. Ino, it's fine, he told me something and I got emotional, don't think too much into it. Hinata told the now known Ino. Hey Dobi, don't you ever call me Itachi's brother. I'm even related to that bastard. Sasuke screamed. Naruto gave a chuckle. There you go, making demands again. I will do as I wish when I wish. You have no control over me, Uchiha. I do not care what clan you are a part of or what dujutsu your clan might possess. You are just a brooding, arrogant, self-righteous emo asshole, so don't think you have any control over me. Naruto, as he placed his head back on the desk. Sasuke, Sakura, and Ino were beyond angry. How dare he insult my clan, how dare he insult Sasuke-kun? Were their thoughts. They all were about to speak up when Mizuki did. That's enough. I do not want any more interruptions today. Mizuki told them. Ha 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 ha. If that kid weren't a demon I could actually like him. Put the Uchiha right in his place. Mizuki thought. Mizuki began his history lesson again as Naruto fell asleep, thinking this is going to be a very hard next 5 years. They all were about to speak up when Mizuki did. That's enough. I do not want any more interruptions today. Mizuki told them. Ha 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 ha. If that kid weren't a demon I could actually like him. Put the Uchiha right in his place. Mizuki thought. Mizuki began his history lesson again as Naruto fell asleep, thinking this is going to be a very hard next 5 years. Time skip 10 months. Naruto's age. 7. Naruto's mental age. 8. Mindscape. Naruto stood in at 4 feet 8 and was very muscular with lean, strong muscle going from head to toe. Naruto stood in front of a smoldering crater, exhausted. Good Naruto, good Naruto. Raikudo and Narumi both told Naruto. Naruto turned and bowed. Thank you Raikudo-sensei, Narumi-sensei. Naruto told them. Naruto, it seems that you have really gotten the storm release, and wood release, jutsus down. You are truly gifted in ninjutsu, however it is time for you to gain my taijutsu form. It's called Sage Fist. Your stance will look a lot like you're going to fight in snake form, but that is only because snake form was based off of this taijutsu style. The reason being is because the snake taijutsu style is based on speed and precision, and the Sage Fist using the best starting stance for speed and precision. Anyways, enough rambling. I want to tell you I won't be able to stay for a year like I planned. Once I use up my last knowledge transfer I must leave and speak with Kami. She failed to mention this until just a couple months ago. I have taught you every jutsu for storm release and wood release that I know and believe to be out in the world. You are proficient in air, fire, lighting, and water. You must learn earth and master it. I believe in you. If you keep training with Narumi and using the Kage Bunshin we taught you, you'll be completely fine. For this last transfer, I'll give you all of my knowledge on it, not just some like I did with Storm and Wood. I won't be here to help you learn it, and Narumi doesn't really know this style beyond the basics. The transfer will hurt, it will be as if your mind exploding, but you must not pass out, for if you do, the transfer will stop there. Raikudo told Naruto. Naruto and Narumi looked shocked. But Raikudo-sensei, I'll miss you, isn't there any way for us to still speak? Naruto asked as he went up and hugged the sensei who has been like a father to him. Narumi was right behind Naruto, hugging her friend who had also been like a father to her. Tusen, please do something to contact me once in a while. Narumi asked. Raikudo gave a small smile. I will now, Naruto. When I start this transfer, I will automatically leave your mindscape. Get comfortable because this transfer will take about 10 minutes. Raikudo told him. Narumi took Naruto by the hand and sat down, getting Naruto to sit down also. Narumi laid Naruto back and placed his head in her lap. Raikudo smiled at this. Behave, Narumi. You know what I told you, not until graduation or until he confesses. Raikudo told Narumi with a smile. Narumi blushed, but smiled. Naruto just had a content look on his face. Raikudo sat down in a meditation pose and starting shifting through his memories. After a couple minutes, Raikudo had gathered every single piece of data that could give Naruto the knowledge to use the advanced and basic form of Sage first. Raikudo started the transfer and vanished. Naruto opened his eyes and let out a scream. Narumi held Naruto down in her lap and started playing with his hair. It's okay, Naruto-kun, just fight through it. Don't give up. Come on, you can do it. Narumi cheered Naruto. Naruto just laid there, his body twisting his body in agony. There was no amount of words that could get through to Naruto, so Narumi just had to sit there and let Naruto fight it out himself. After 10 minutes, Naruto's body finally stopped twitching and Naruto's screams had finally stopped. Naruto opened his eyes and a smile graced his lips. That crazy bastard. Naruto said to nobody in particular. Narumi, who had a tear falling down her face, wiped it away, happy to see Naruto fine and unhurt. Naruto-kun, what was that? Narumi asked. That crazy bastard. Raikudo-sensei gave me every piece of knowledge he ever had on taijutsu. That's why it took so long. I can now effectively counter any taijutsu that is based off of the Sage Fist. Naruto told Narumi. Narumi's eyes went wide. I can't believe he did that. That could have killed you. Narumi screamed. Oh, Narumi-sensei, calm down, I made it out alive, didn't I? Naruto asked. Question: why did you called Raikudo-sensei your Tusen? Oh well, when Tusen divided the 10-tailed Biju, we were all babies. He took us all home and nurtured and cared for us. He became a father to all of us Biju. Narumi answered. Well, okay, thanks for answering, Narumi-sensei, but if you don't mind, I really just want to go to bed. That took a lot out of me. Naruto told Narumi. Narumi nodded her head, understanding. Alright, Naruto-kun, you can leave and go to bed. Naruto got up and gave Narumi a quick hug, then disappeared from his mindscape, getting a full night's rest. Damn you, Tusen. I swear if Naruto-kun is taken by graduation day, I will personally ask Kami to hit you for me. Narumi declared. Time skip 5 years. Naruto's age. 12. Naruto's mental age. 16. Naruto, now 5 feet 9, was standing in front of a massive hole in a tree, breathing heavily. Wow, Naruto-kun, you mastered the Rasengan pretty quickly. It took you only a couple weeks. Now we can train some more things. Narumi told Naruto with an evil glint in her eye, but acting seductive as well. Naruto shuddered. First things first, Narumi-sensei. You are an absolute slave driver. You already made me master air, fire, and water along with the final touches of wood and storm. So no more training today, I have graduation today anyways. Also don't tease me, you know that I have the hormones of a 16 or 17-year-old. Naruto told Narumi. Narumi pouted, but waved him off. Fine, Naruto-kun, you're no fun though. Narumi told Naruto as he left. Naruto woke up dreading today. Okay, just gotta finish today and then tomorrow will be all good. Next year I can actually do sword well. Naruto told himself. Naruto quickly got out of bed and grabbed a towel. Naruto walked into his bathroom and started to strip. He turned on the hot water and stared in the mirror. I can't believe I was lucky enough to be the disciple of the greatest shinobi this world has ever seen. Naruto said in disbelief as he entered the shower. Naruto took a quick 3 minutes long shower, shampooing his hair, rinsing it, then stepping out of the shower to dry off. Naruto exited the bathroom with just a towel on and began to get dressed. 4 minutes later Naruto was out the door running towards the academy. I wonder what Iruka-sensei is going to say when I fail. He has only got her this year, but he's been like an older brother to me. Naruto thought with a grimace. Naruto quickly found himself in the academy heading towards his room. Upon entering the room he saw a black-haired woman with red eyes and Mizuki standing there looking as if in a heated argument. Naruto took a quick glance at Mizuki who had just grabbed the woman by the neck and looked as if about to punch her. Mizuki let his punch fly aiming it at her nose hoping to break it, but only to be left in shock when a hand out of nowhere came and grabbed his punch in an iron-like grip. You know Mizuki-sensei, it's never polite to hit a woman. Naruto told Mizuki while staring him directly in the eyes. Brat, this has nothing to do with you. Now let go of my hand or I'll be forced to hurt you. Mizuki answered right back with anger flaring through his words. Naruto just increased the grip on his hand making Mizuki wince, while grabbing Mizuki's hand that was around the woman's neck choking her. Naruto twisted Mizuki's fist forcing him to let go of the woman's neck giving Naruto complete control of Mizuki's second hand. Before Mizuki knew what happened he was shoved against the blackboard with both arms hoisted behind his back. Now Mizuki-sensei, I will repeat this again, it is not polite to hit women. Especially such a beautiful woman as the one you were about to hit. Naruto told Mizuki while looking back to see the woman blushing from his compliment. No then Mizuki tell me why I shouldn't tell the Hokage of what I saw and you trying to hurt a fellow leaf nin. Naruto asked. Excuse me, how did you know I was a leaf nin? The mystery woman asked. Naruto turned his head just enough to gaze over his shoulder. Well miss. Naruto said waiting for her to fill in her name. I'm Kurenai Yuhi, thanks for helping me by the way. The now known Kurenai said. Ah well miss. Yuhi, I noticed your leaf headband. Naruto told Kurenai. Now what exactly happened here? Naruto asked. Mizuki stayed silent still trying to get out only to have his arms wretched higher. Well Mizuki, asked me here to discuss Hinata who is like my little sister. I came and all Mizuki did was hit on me and then he tried to get into my pants using force which I hit him for then I was about to leave when he started to choke me and you saw the rest as you did it. Kurenai explained. Really? Mizuki, is that what happened, you piece of shit? You tried to rape another ninja. I should take you to the Hokage and have him deal with you, but since I can't trust you'll come quietly I'll just have to make you. Miss Yuhi, you may want to cover your ears or look away. I know you're a ninja, but it is never pretty when you have to do something to another person without them having a way to fight back. Naruto told Kurenai, to which she nodded, but kept watching. Okay Miss Yuhi, have it your way. Naruto told her. Oh come on Naruto, don't do this, I'll come along peacefully. Mizuki pleaded with Naruto. No you won't, you piece of shit. You'll just try to escape as soon as we leave. Naruto told Mizuki, wrenching his arms higher than humanly possible, dislocating both shoulder and breaking an arm. Ah, you demon. I'll kill you for this. Mizuki screamed out in pain. Naruto's response was to turn Mizuki around and punch his directly in the face, knocking him unconscious. Miss Yuhi, would you mind taking this piece of trash to the Hokage? I'm sorry, I would normally, but I have class you see. Naruto asked Kurenai. Kurenai gave a nod. Excuse me, but what is your name? I gave you mine but never got one in return. Kurenai asked. Naruto looked like he had just been punched in the face. Oh, I'm very sorry, where are my manners? My name is Naruto Uzumaki, or you might know me by my names that I have been dubbed with. Demon, demon brat, spawn of the Kyuubi. Naruto said sadly. Kurenai gave a sad smile and went up and kissed his cheek. Well, Naruto, thank you for helping me. I'll take Mizuki here to the Hokage right away. Kurenai told Naruto while going over to Mizuki using Sunshine to get to the Hokage tower as fast as she could. Naruto just smiled and walked up to his usual seat. Iruka ran in 2 minutes later. Naruto, is everything alright? Where's Mizuki? Iruka asked. Naruto just gave a wave and a smile. Oh, Mizuki Tem. He's more than likely at interrogations right now for assaulting another leaf ninja. I don't know anything other than that. Naruto lied through his teeth. Iruka gave a look of disbelief, but his look was settled when a group of students all entered. Hey, look, it's the Baka. Sakura and Ino yelled out. Naruto just laughed. Ha 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 ha. Wow, that was funny. I hope you can come up with something you don't use every day. Now then, if that's all you've got to say, then please keep your mouth shut. Naruto asked with a smile on his face. Sakura got pissed and walked up to Naruto and took a swing, but was shocked when Naruto intercepted her swing like it was nothing, which sent her off balance and she fell onto the ground. Naruto just looked at the ground, then looked forward like nothing happened. Sakura got up off the floor and took another swing, aiming at the back of Naruto's head, smirking because it was his blind spot. Naruto ducked his head at the last second and grabbed her hand as she became unbalanced again because she threw all of her power and weight into the punch. Naruto flipped her over his back and she landed with her back on the desk Naruto was sitting at. Listen, Sakura, I'm sorry I had to do that, truly I am, but I'm sick and tired of you using me as your punching bag. You don't even know me, but yet you treat me like I'm a disease that you might catch. Naruto told her as he released his on her arm, but got up and grabbed her hand, lifted her up, causing her to crash into his chest. Sakura looked up meekly to see a sad-looking Naruto. Again, Sakura, I am really sorry, but I only pretended to like you so I could get some attention, even if it was hate-filled. I'm sorry that it came to me actually having to hurt you. Naruto said as he separated himself from her and sat back down in his seat. Sakura looked at him for a second and went to go sit down. Ino and the rest of her group just stared at Naruto with disbelief in their eyes. Iruka, who had been watching, smiled at his adopted younger brother, glad he finally stood up for himself. Iruka thought. 15 minutes later. Alright class, today is graduation. There is a written exam, a kunai shuriken accuracy exam, a taijutsu spar, and finally a ninjutsu exam. Iruka began handing out all of the tests, to which Naruto just put his head down and went to sleep. You have 1 hour until I collect these tests. Iruka shouted so everybody could hear. 1 hour later. Alright everybody, pencils down, head outside and wait for me to come out to begin the accuracy exam. Iruka told them. Everybody headed out of the classroom quickly besides Sakura and Naruto. Sakura kept thinking about what Naruto said about how she didn't even know him, but treated him like he was a disease. While Naruto was just like this every day. Iruka had finished collecting the tests expect for Naruto's. Iruka picked up the test and read it. Dear Iruka-sensei, I'm sorry for disappointing you like this, maybe someday I'll explain it. Just know that next year you won't believe who I am. Iruka was sad, confused, and angry. Why doesn't he try? Iruka thought to himself. While Iruka was collecting all of the tests, Naruto had picked a tree and fallen asleep on it. 20 minutes later. Naruto Uzumaki. You're up. Iruka yelled. Naruto awoke immediately from all of the training simulations he had to do in his mindscape because of Narumi. I pass. Naruto shouted back. All of the students started to whisper about why he would just give up. While Sasuke smirked. Ah, the Dobi doesn't want to try because he might embarrass himself. Sasuke asked. Naruto got up and walked over to Iruka and grabbed 10 kunai and 10 shuriken. Without looking, he launched them all at the tree. All 20 projectiles hit. The kunai formed a perfect X while the shuriken formed a circle. No, Sasuke Tem, I just don't feel like doing this. Naruto informed Sasuke. Sasuke was fuming. Iruka was dumbfounded, as was the rest of the class besides Hinata. Hinata had been told some of what Naruto had done, but not all. She had been told Naruto had trained by a very powerful ninja and was only doing the academy as a way to get along with his age group, which she didn't understand because all he did was sleep in the class. Okay Naruto, perfect score. Iruka called out happily. Naruto shook his head. No Iruka-sensei, I was supposed to hit the dummy, not a tree. I failed. Now let's move on to taijutsu. Naruto told Iruka. Iruka just didn't understand why Naruto didn't want a perfect score, but allowed him to fail. Alright class, you'll have 5-minute taijutsu spars, and the one who performs the best or who knocks the other opponent unconscious wins the taijutsu spar. Hey Dobi, you and me. Now, Sasuke demanded. Naruto just shook his head again. Wow Sasuke-tem, you're still demanding things from me. Fine, I'll fight you. Naruto told Sasuke. Sasuke smirked as they made their way to the ring. Iruka didn't do anything because he too wanted to see what his little brother could do. Once I beat you, I would have defeated every guy in our class. Sasuke said arrogantly. Well, how about this, Sasuke-chan? You hit me twice, I'll admit you're better than me. Deal? Naruto asked. Fine, deal, but if hit you twice you have to admit that you're just loser. Sasuke said. Naruto just nodded and waited for the match to begin. Iruka walked to the middle of the ring and shot his hand down. Begin. Iruka yelled. Sasuke shot off as fast as he could, knowing he would hit the dobi with minimal effort, but was surprised to see Naruto just stood there looking bored. That pissed Sasuke off even more. Sasuke threw a barrage of punches and kicked, in which Naruto just dodged and ducked them all with no effort required at all. 4 minutes and 50 seconds had passed of Sasuke attacking and Naruto easily deflecting or dodging everything. Sasuke was beyond mad. How is this dobi doing this? Sasuke thought. Might as well let him hit me once. Naruto thought to himself. As Sasuke was going in for a punch to the chest, Naruto moved his body so Sasuke would hit his arm. Which Sasuke did and smirked until he saw Naruto still standing looking bored as ever. Stop. Winner Sasuke Uchiha. Iruka yelled out, amazed yet disappointed at his little brother. What the hell was the dobi? You just let me hit you. I want a rematch. Sasuke screamed out. Listen to me, I didn't want to win and I don't want to fight you again. Now you officially beat me. Congratulations. Naruto told Sasuke as he walked over to the tree he had been sleeping under earlier. Sasuke rushed Naruto wanting another fight. Sasuke grabbed the back of Naruto's jacket, jerked, causing the jacket to rip off of Naruto, revealing Naruto wearing a skin-tight black muscle shirt. Well Uchiha, you got my jacket. Take it as a souvenir. Naruto told Sasuke calmly. All the girls who could see Naruto blushed madly. Some were making cat calls and whistling while others had some blood running down their noses. Wow, who knew Naruto had such a body? A random girl screamed out. Naruto just continued to calmly walk over to his tree. Naruto sat down and fell back asleep. 30 minutes later. Class, head back inside. Iruka yelled out. Naruto woke up and headed back inside to find a couple girl already where he usually sat. Hello ladies. Naruto told the girls with a confused look. The girls all just gave him a smile with hearts in their eyes. Great, a fan club. You Kami, what did I do to deserve this? Naruto thought to himself. Naruto was about to sit down at his usual seat until Sasuke came up behind him and grabbed him by the back of the shirt. Pulling with all of his might, Sasuke managed to rip Naruto's shirt off. All the girls in the room had nosebleeds, some blew them back against a wall while other were just little dribbles with perverted grins. Sasuke, I'm not into you like that, please go sit down. Naruto asked. This got laughs from a lot of the guys in the room while Sasuke's loyal fangirls all sneered at Naruto. Naruto walked over to his seat, seeing all of the girls near him with perverted looks and blood running down their nose. Naruto shrugged and put his head down on the desk and went back to sleep. 40 minutes later. Naruto Uzumaki. Uruka screamed outright by Naruto's head. Naruto looked up casually. What do you want, Uruka-sensei? I have allowed you to sleep long enough. I purposely waited until the end to call you. Now get up and come take the ninjutsu test. Uruka told Naruto. Uruka-sensei, I pass. Naruto said casually. What did you just say? Uruka screamed out. I pass. Naruto replied calmly. Uruka was just about to hit Naruto upside the head for being so stupid until he realized Naruto was out of his seat. Sorry Uruka-sensei, I gotta go. Naruto apologized while casually walking out of the classroom with catcalls and whistles still chasing after him. Naruto exited the academy with a sad look on his face. School starts in 3 months again. I'm gonna be so tired with all of the training Narumi-chan has planned for me. Naruto thought to himself. Damn right you are. Narumi yelled to Naruto. Naruto shrugged and ran over to the Hokage tower. Wonder what Gigi is doing. Naruto thought to himself. Naruto ended up at the Hokage tower in minutes. Walking up the stairs he could hear many perverted giggles and could see many perverted smiles. Wow, I'm the demon to them with my shirt on, but with it off I'm a piece of meat. Naruto thought to himself in disgust. Walking up to the secretary of the Hokage he gave a small smile. Hey Yumiko-chan, is Hokage Gigi in? Naruto asked the Hokage's assistant. Yumiko was 5 feet 6, with long black hair, beautiful green eyes and a nice curvy body. She had a sizable bust and pretty nice. Oh hey Naruto-kun, how are why? Yumiko got out before she got a look at her friend. With a perverted blush and some blood dripping from her nose she turned her head. Naruto grinned. Yumiko-chan, do you like what you see? Naruto asked with a grin when she turned her head and nodded. Well, I'm flattered that such a lovely young woman as yourself would think I'm attractive. I'll just go see my Gigi. Bye Yumiko-chan. Naruto exclaimed with a wave as he walked over to the Hokage office. Damn, Naruto-kun, you have an amazing body. Wonder what you'll look like when you're 14 or 15. Yumiko thought with a perverted grin. Naruto walked over to the Hokage office door and kicked it open. Hey Gigi, what's up? Naruto asked his grandfather when he noticed the woman he helped earlier, a pineapple hair-styled woman who had pink hair. Also in the room there was a girl and boy who had to be a year younger than him. The boy was 5 feet 4 with brown spiked hair and an athletic build. The girl was 5 feet 5 with long dark brown hair. She had lavender eyes. The girl had a nice body for an 11-year-old. Some curves were coming in and she already had what seemed to be a B going on C-cup. When she got older Naruto could tell she would be a beauty. Kurenai turned and blushed. The purple-haired woman saw the blush and turned her head only to blush and some blood to come out of her nose. The girl blushed, but immediately held it back and tried to act like a noble. The boy didn't look like he cared, while the Hokage looked happy. Oh Naruto, nice job with Mizuki. How are you by the way? Sarutobi asked. I'm fine Gigi and thank you. It's nice to see you again Miss Yuhi. Naruto responded as he walked up to the desk with his muscles twitching with every movement. Hi Naruto, it's nice to see you again as well. Thank you for the help again. I'm more of a genjutsu user, not a close quarters fighter and he caught me by surprise. Kurenai responded with a glowing blush still adorning her cheeks. The other women walked over to Naruto and held out her hand. I'm Anko, I'm truly happy you helped my friend. Thank you. Anko told Naruto. Naruto shook her hand. It was no big deal. I couldn't let an attractive woman get hurt. Naruto replied with a smile while release Anko's hand. The compliment caused Kurenai to blush even harder, which made Naruto chuckle. I'm sorry Miss Yuhi, am I making you uncomfortable? I could go back home and put another shirt on. Sasuke Uchiha attacked me from behind or tried to and ended up ripping my shirt off. Naruto explained with a smile at Kurenai's blush and Anko's slight blush. No Naruto, it's fine, I'm sorry. You can call me Kurenai by the way, thank you for being respectful though. Kurenai told Naruto. Naruto gave a nod. No problem. Did you say that you were like sisters with Hinata? Naruto asked. Yes, we are. Why do you ask? Kurenai asked. I was just wondering how she was doing. We used to be very good friends and then her clan council forbid her from seeing me. When I joined her class in my first year, she wanted to speak with me and become good friends again, but I wouldn't allow it. I know what the Hyuga clan thinks of me and I will not allow Hinata-chan to mess up her life because she wants to be friends with me. Maybe later when I become a genin. Naruto told Kurenai. Kurenai got blank look. You didn't pass the test? Kurenai asked in disbelief. No, I didn't pass the test. Doesn't matter though. Naruto stated nonchalantly. Kurenai gave him a "what are you smoking" look. Naruto, how could you not pass the test? You put a chunin to his knees without trying. It's either you don't care or you're wanting people to underestimate you. Kurenai tried to push Naruto onto telling her. Naruto gave a foxy grin that make Anko and Kurenai blush. Kurenai, I'll tell you some time later if we ever become good friends, but for now nobody knows. Gigi, don't try to force it out of me either because you can't, Naruto told Sarutobi. Fine Naruto, but why did you come here? Sarutobi asked. Well, I came to talk to my Gigi. Why, is something the matter? Naruto asked. Yes, there is. You interrupted my conversation with my Gigi. The younger boy yelled. Naruto gave a smile. Ah, you must be Konohamaru. You are very loud and obnoxious by the look of you. I think we'll get along just fine. Naruto stated with a smile. Ha! Coming from the village idiot. The girl told Naruto. And don't ever speak ill of the Hyuga clan. The girl finished off. Naruto took a thoughtful pose. He smiled and disappeared only to reappear behind the girl. Well, now if I'm the village idiot, does that mean you like village idiots? I saw that blush. Naruto whispered in her ear, sending chills up her spine. Naruto casually walked over to the Hokage's desk and gave a sheepish smile while everybody around him had their mouths on the floor. What did I do? Naruto asked. Naruto, what the hell? How did you move so fast? Sarutobi asked. It's a secret. Naruto replied mysteriously. Everybody eventually took their mouths off the ground while the girl was still blushing from what Naruto had done. Listen, I didn't mean to speak ill of the Hyuga clan. I just stated I know their opinion on me and it is unjust. The only two members I can think of the Hyuga clan who ever spoke to me with kindness is Hiashi Hyuga and Hinata Hyuga. May I know your name so I can properly address you? Naruto asked. My name is Hanabi Hyuga. Hanabi told Naruto. Ah, so you are the younger sister of Hinata. She and I still speak whenever I feel we won't get in trouble. Hinata speaks highly of you, I can see why. You're strong, loyal, and if I can read eyes, I see determination burning within them. Not to mention you're cute, Naruto said with a smile. Hanabi blushed, but quickly got it under control. Stay away from my sister. I do not want her to be affected by the loser of her class. Somebody who couldn't even pass the academy. Hanabi told Naruto with disdain. Naruto gave a smile. Well, how about this? If I can beat you in everything next year, then you have to tolerate me. Does that sound fair? Naruto asked. Yes, it sounds fair, but I highly doubt the dead last could ever amount to me. Hanabi proclaimed with arrogance. Ah, you are just the Uchiha. Maybe when we have graduation next year I'll make the same deal with him I did with him, but for now I'm going to leave. It was nice to meet you, Konohamaru. I believe you will be a very strong ninja. Anko, very nice to meet you as well. Hanabi, I wish we could have met under different circumstances, but it was bound to happen. Kurenai, I wish to see you again soon. I hope you don't mind. Gigi, I'm going to be gone for 3 months. I'm going to head out to training ground 44, just until the academy starts up again. Naruto told his Gigi. It was nice to meet you too, Naruto. Konohamaru told Naruto with a smile. Naruto, if you ever would like to talk or get something to eat, just ask. Kurenai told Naruto with a smile and a soft blush. Kurenai, are you asking me on a date? Naruto asked. Kurenai blushed even harder. No, I was just thinking since you saved me I might as well help you out in some way. Kurenai answered. Naruto adorned his foxy smile. Kurenai, it would be nice to talk to something that doesn't think bad of me for no reason. I'll take your offer up for a talk sometime. Naruto told Kurenai, to which she nodded. Hey Gaki, why would you want to go to training ground 44? I just don't see why an academy student would want to go there. Anko asked. Well Anko, it's a secret. Naruto replied mysteriously. Naruto, I'm looking forward to beating you into the ground when the academy starts. Hanabi told Naruto with a smug smirk. This must be the girl that Raikudo-sensei warned me about. She has lavender eyes and she acts pretty arrogant. Stupid smug smirk, I should rip that off of your face. Naruto, though, with anger, as he hates arrogance. I have a feeling that I will make the bet with you, as I did with the Uchiha. This time though I'll actually fight back. Naruto told Hanabi. Naruto, I don't want you to go to training ground 44. What if you get hurt? Sarutobi asked. Gigi, trust me when I saw this. Nothing in that forest can hurt me. Naruto told Sarutobi. Naruto, if you go I want Anko to visit you every 2 weeks. Sarutobi told Naruto. If that is alright with Anko here, I will be more than happy to oblige. It will be nice to have somebody to talk to every once in a while. Naruto told his Gigi. Yeah, I'll go visit the Gaki every 2 weeks. Maybe I could teach him a thing or two. Anko told the room seductively. Naruto smiled. Anko, if you try anything on me, I might just have to show you something nobody has ever seen, and no, it will not be a part of my anatomy. Naruto replied. Everybody got confused looks on their faces. It's a secret. Naruto told everybody. Again, it was nice meeting you all. I hope we meet again soon. Naruto called back as he walked out of the room, giving all the females a good look at his. Cat calls came from Anko, while Kurenai and Hanabi gave slight blushes. That kid is definitely different. Anko said aloud, to which everybody agreed. 10 minutes later, Naruto was already packed with his extra changes of his orange jumpsuit and some instant ramen. Naruto had become addicted to instant ramen since all he did for 10 months straight was go to the academy, go home, sleep, wake up, eat and repeat. Hey Naruto-kun, what the hell was that? You showed the Uchiha that he couldn't touch you. You broke that Chunnin's arm and dislocated his shoulders, and then on top of that you used speed to get behind that Hyuga girl. Do you want assassins coming to kill you? Or wait, better yet, you want to be kidnapped and trained to be a mindless killing machine, where emotions have no effect on you? Narumi asked, accused angrily. Okay Narumi, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done anything when the Uchiha challenged me either time, but I was so sick of his shit. I broke that Chunnin's arm and dislocated his shoulders because no woman will get raped with me around if I can do anything about it, and I did the last one just for fun. Naruto told Narumi with a grin. You know you're an idiot, but I had to admit it was pretty funny to see the Uchiha all pissed. Narumi told Naruto. Naruto nodded and increased his speed. Within 20 minutes Naruto was at training ground 44. Man, 3 months of non-stop training, well, this is going to be fun. Naruto thought to himself as he disappeared into the forest. Naruto nodded and increased his speed. Within 20 minutes Naruto was at training ground 44. Man, 3 months of non-stop training, well, this is going to be fun. Naruto thought to himself as he disappeared into the forest. Naruto's age? 12. Naruto's mental age? 16. Council room day after Naruto entered the forest. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat in his seat in the middle of the room waiting patiently to be told why a meeting had been summoned. After 5 minutes everybody had been seated and the conversations had stopped. It was Danzo who spoke, breaking the silence and telling Sarutobi why the meeting had been called. Hokage-sama, we have all heard that the boy named Naruto Uzumaki attacked a leaf chunin and dislocated both shoulders and broke an arm. He should be punished. The punishment for attacking a fellow leaf nin is usually death. So why have you not put him to death yet? Danzo asked curiously. Sarutobi gave a laugh, enraging some of the members of the council. Hokage-sama, that demon should be killed. He attacked a fellow leaf nin, give him death. A civilian council member shouted out by the name of Aki. Many nodding their heads in agreement. Sarutobi stopped laughing abruptly. So this is the thanks Naruto gets. People want him put to death because he saved a woman from rape. You are all ridiculous. I can't believe you honestly believe he is the Kyuubi. You want to know something? He stopped Mizuki a Chunin of the Leaf from raping a fellow Leaf Nin. He did out of the kindness of his heart to try and help another person, and all you see if the Kyuubi. Do you have not shame? Most of you have put out bounties to thugs to kill and torture Naruto, and you have the audacity to call him the demon. If I could just get all of you to Inoichi, I would get Inoichi to mind walk you, and anybody who ever hurt Naruto I would kill you with my bare hands. Sarutobi screamed, ranted after hearing a kill request for his adopted grandson. The council room was quiet as they though over all that was said. Many looked down in shame after hearing they wanted the blonde dead after he saved a woman from rape. Others looked on with indifference, still thinking he was the Kyuubi. Hokage-sama, how do you know that what he said was true? If you don't mind, I would like the woman he saved to come to this room and plead on Naruto's behalf. Danzo told Sarutobi. Naruto leaked out killing intent, causing many of the civilian council members to faint from the pressure. Fine, you want here. I'll go get here. Don't blame me if she kills anybody who insults Naruto. She has grown fond of him ever since he saved her. Sarutobi told the room as he shunshined away. Why do I have the bad feeling this is going to bite me in the... Danzo said aloud. Many of the clan heads looked at him as if he was stupid. Maybe, because you insulted the Hokage's adopted grandson and he finally snapped. Hiyashi Hyuga told Danzo. Sarutobi shunshined back into the council room with a woman standing right next to him, and she didn't look happy. Danzo's face fell into shock. Oh shit, was all Danzo managed to utter out. Sarutobi looked around the council room, smiling at the faces of shock. Well, it seems a lot of you know Kurenai-san. Kurenai, Danzo here would like to speak on Naruto's behalf. Sarutobi told Kurenai as he stepped back, feeling sorry for anybody who might insult Naruto with her here. Kurenai was a new Junin promoted only a couple weeks ago, but quickly built up a reputation for being a very angry person to anybody that talked bad about somebody she was friends with. Kurenai was known for casting genjutsu on people who insulted her friends, or mainly friend, as she really only had Anko until Naruto showed up. Many of the people who insulted Anko found themselves in the insane asylum after having a genjutsu put on them that put them right in the middle of their worst fear. Danzo gulped as Kurenai strode forward, standing in the middle of the room looking very angry. Well, why was I called her? I was in the middle of meeting my new genin team. Kurenai asked the reason for her summons. Danzo looked around, seeing if anybody else wished to tell Kurenai for the reason she was called upon. Seeing none, he mentally shouted. You cowards! Regaining his composure, Danzo began to speak. Well, Kurenai-san, it is about Naruto Uzumaki. Danzo told Kurenai. Kurenai instantly relaxed and her eyes seemed to soften as they held warmth instead of ice when she heard Naruto's name. What the hell is that about? Danzo mentally asked himself after witnessing Kurenai visibly softened after hearing Naruto's name. What about Naruto? Is he alright? Kurenai asked, worried her new friend was hurt. Yes, he is alright, all is fine. We were just wondering if you could tell what happened when Naruto supposedly saved you for being raped. He assaulted a fellow Leaf Nin and we are trying to find his proper punishment. It would usually be death, but we don't have all the facts. Danzo told Kurenai. Kurenai's eyes went cold again. What do you want to know? Kurenai asked. Well, we have it reported that the boy attacked the Chunin without provocation and that you were engaging in activities with him willingly, Danzo explained. First off, Mizuki invited me to the academy to talk with me about my adopted little sister's progress. When I got there, he tried to get me to have with him. I said no and he tried to force me. I got him to leave me alone, and as I was about to leave, he grabbed me by the neck and was about to punch me in the face when Naruto arrived. Naruto intercepted the punch and incapacitated Mizuki. Naruto was nothing but kind to me. Kurenai told the council members. A council member scoffed. Ha 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 ha, the demon, that's funny, didn't know he could be nice. Probably saved you so he could rape you after. Kurenai turned on the man and started hand signs. Kurenai art. Shinigami's presence. Kurenai shouted. The man abruptly started to scream. Kurenai stood there laughing at the man's misfortune. That should teach you to never accuse Naruto again. He has never anything wrong from what I hear, but he always gets glares of hate whenever he is on the street. It's not like it's hard to notice. Everybody glares at him, hell even some of the Junin I know talk badly about Naruto. I'm sick of a poor guy who has never done anything wrong being glared at so hatefully. Hell, I didn't even know Naruto, but he still saved me from Mizuki. He even had the consideration to give me the option to look away when he dislocated Mizuki's shoulders. Kurenai stated, looked angrily at everybody in the council room. Why don't you shut the hell up? He's the Kyuubi, you dumb bitch. That's why everybody hates him, he has the Kyuubi sealed in him. So that makes him the Kyuubi. A civilian council member screamed angry that this woman was sticking up for the demon. Kurenai stood there shocked at what she heard. Before she could respond, Sarutobi was over to the man's seat with a kunai at his throat. Anbu. Sarutobi screamed. 4 Anbu appeared. Yes, Hokage-sama, they said in unison. You are to take this piece of trash and tell Ibiki that they revealed Naruto's secret. Ibiki with no just what to do. Sarutobi told the Anbu with a sadistic grin on his face. The grin caused the Anbu to shiver and feel bad for the man, while the man had literally shit himself. One of the Anbu cringed up his nose. Ah, guys, I think this shit himself. One of the Anbu stated. Everybody in the room started to smell the horrific smell and started to gag. The Anbu quickly shunshined him to the INT department. Sarutobi walked back to where he was standing while muttering just loud enough for everybody to hear. Damn lucky bastard, if he had any family I would arrest and execute them too. Kurenai had a shocked look. Hokage-sama, is that true? Kurenai asked in disbelief. Sarutobi gave a sad smile. Does Naruto know he is the container of the Kyuubi? Kurenai asked. No, Kurenai-san, he does not, and you are to tell him. That secret is a double S ranked village secret, and anybody who is caught telling people it will be put through torture than death. Now come on, Kurenai, I think you answered enough questions. Sarutobi looked back and saw the unconscious man. Would you mind releasing that genjutsu? Sarutobi asked. After he passed out I did. Kurenai replied. This meeting is adjourned. Naruto's sentence none. For he saved a fellow leaf nin from rape. Sarutobi told the council room as he walked out with Kurenai walking right behind him going over what she had just been told. Hokage-sama, where is the seal? Kurenai whispered curiously. Sarutobi gave her a securitizing gaze trying to decide whether to tell her or not. Well, since you seem to care so much for Naruto, I suppose I could tell you. It is on his stomach. You didn't notice it at first because he must channel chakra through his body for it to appear. Sarutobi whispered back. With that they both left each other's graces. Sarutobi going back to his office and Kurenai going back to the team she left, but now had a certain blonde on her mind. With Naruto. For Kami's sake. First I have to wait to find a proper shelter until this morning. Then I got attacked by a goddamn 20-foot-long centipede and now I can't stop sneezing. Naruto yelled out in annoyance as he finished setting up a cave near a river with plenty of cover to be his home for the next 3 months. Narumi laughed at his annoyance. Naruto-kun, somebody must be talking about you with all the sneezing you're doing. Narumi told Naruto. Yeah, right, I know that little rumor. Folklore. I don't know, whatever it is I know about it, and I highly doubt anybody would talk about me. Naruto replied sadly. Listen, Narumi-sensei, for the next 3 months I'm going to be working on my speed, strength, and finally I'm going to create a couple jutsus for my Kekai Genkai. What do you think I should work on first? Naruto asked. There was no reply for a couple of minutes as Narumi was thinking it over. Well, Naruto-kun, I think it won't matter. Just limit your speed, strength, and your Kekai Genkai training to a month each. I don't know why you just don't relax for a couple weeks. Honestly, how often do you see a 12-year-old who can hold his own against at least a couple of Anbu? Narumi asked. Naruto gave a chuckle. You make a good point, Narumi-sensei, but I wish to continue to get stronger. How else am I going to protect you and Kurenai-chan? Naruto asked. Oh, so the woman you saved earlier is now Chan. Wow, Naruto-kun, I thought I was the only woman you needed. Narumi told Naruto with a playful tease. Naruto sputtered and blushed. Narumi-chan, stop teasing me, you know about my hormones and I was just saying Chan because I felt like we became friends. Naruto answered back. Now shish, I'm tired and want to go to sleep. I'll talk to you when I get up. Good night, Narumi-chan. Naruto told Narumi as he fell into a deep sleep. Time skipped 2 months and 2 weeks. In the early afternoon, Anko and Kurenai came running out of the forest looking triumphant as they spotted Naruto. What Anko and Kurenai saw shocked them. They had come out and saw Naruto perform his new mastered jutsu. Storm Release. Cloud Divination. Naruto, now 5 feet 10, stood before a smoldering, split tree. Yes, finally got that down. God damn, that took a long time. Naruto declared happily as he turned around only to be shocked. Oh shit, was what Naruto yelled when he saw Anko and Kurenai with their mouth agape staring directly at Naruto. What the was that? Anko screamed. Oh well, it appears I need to tell you some things to tell you both, please come here. Naruto asked calmly. Naruto entered the cave and sat down on a log he had dragged into the cave. Anko and Kurenai walked into the cave and sat on a log opposite of Naruto, staring directly at him. Explain. Anko demanded. Naruto gave a slight chuckle. Well, what you ladies saw was a Kekai Genkai of mine. I have kept it hidden and came out here to practice it. That is why I left. Naruto sort of lied, sort of told the truth. Well, it's lying as didn't tell them where I got it from. Naruto thought to himself, gauging their responses. Wow, what Kekai Genkai is that? Anko asked curiously as Kurenai studied the blonde. Well, my Kekai Genkai is called Storm Release. It is a very rare Kekai Genkai. I just awakened it one day. Naruto told them. Again, it's not lying, just not telling the whole truth. Naruto thought. Well, does anybody else know? Anko asked Naruto, but Kurenai had remained silent, still staring at the blonde. No, Anko, nobody knows. How do you think people would feel if I showed them I had a very rare and very powerful Kekai Genkai? It most likely wouldn't be a good thing for me. Naruto stated. Now then, why are you just visiting me? I thought you were supposed to come every 2 weeks or so. Naruto asked, trying to change the subject. Thankfully it worked. Well, Kurenai and I have been trying to find you every 2 or 3 weeks, but have been unlucky. We have been close to finding you, but then it would be night and we would just return back to home because we were only given a certain amount of time out here. Anko told Naruto. Ah, so I presume the council put a time limit on how long you both could speak with the supposed demon? Naruto asked. As Naruto mentioned demon, Kurenai snapped. Anko-chan, please leave, I need to speak with Naruto-kun. Please inform that Hokage that I will be gone for the rest of the month. Kurenai told Anko. Anko looked at Kurenai like she was crazy until she saw the pleading and desperation in one of her only good friend's eyes. Anko gave a small nod and left, leaving no trace she had ever been there. Naruto was nervous. Kurenai, why did you tell Anko to leave? Naruto asked nervously. Kurenai smiled. Naruto-kun, please take off your seat, I would like to see something. Kurenai asked softly with some soft tears rolling out of her beautiful red eyes. Kurenai, why are you crying? Naruto asked, sad to see one of his only friends crying. Kurenai wiped her eyes and gave a sad smile. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. I was just thinking about something somebody told me. Now please take off your shirt. Kurenai asked just as softly as the first time. Naruto didn't argue as he figured it was for the best. Kurenai slightly blushed at seeing Naruto with his shirt off again. Such a hot body. Bad Kurenai, he's only 12, maybe 13 bad. Kurenai scolded herself. Naruto smiled as he saw her blush. Kurenai, What did you want to see? Naruto asked nervously. Kurenai gave a soft smile which quickly turned into a frown as she noticed what she failed to notice the first time she saw him without his shirt. He has so many scars. Ranging from things that seemed to plunge into him deeply and others that traveled his a few inches. Kurenai thought to herself. Kurenai was going to ask how he got all of the scars until she looked down at Naruto's stomach. Naruto-kun, can you channel some chakra please? Kurenai asked hesitantly. Naruto shook his head and placed his shirt back on. I'm sorry Kurenai, but if you want to see the seal just to validate that I have the Kyuubi inside of me, I would much rather just tell you. I do have the Kyuubi sealed inside of me. I understand if you want to run and never speak to me again. It won't bother me as I have had it happen to me plenty of times when I was much younger. Naruto told Kurenai sadly. Kurenai shook her head. No Naruto-kun, I'm not leaving. What kind of friend would I be if I just left you because you held such a horrible burden on yourself? It's not you're the Kyuubi, you didn't kill all of those people. Kurenai told Naruto with a smile. Naruto looked up with a couple tears freely coming out of his eyes. Kurenai gave a soft smile at the chan on the end of her name. I feel like I'm going to have to explain a lot to you, but for now we should just get to know each other better. Naruto stated as Kurenai gave him a blank look asking what he was talking about. Kurenai-chan, as I said I'll explain everything to you later. For now like I said let's just get to know each other better. Naruto told Kurenai. Kurenai nodded. Well I'm Kurenai Yuhi, I grew up here in Konoha with my mom and dad. I hate people who think males are better than females. I'm a new Junin just promoted a couple of weeks ago. I specialize in genjutsu and I have a nickname, I'm the Ice Queen. Kurenai told Naruto with disdain. Naruto shook his head. How could such a beautiful woman such as yourself be an Ice Queen? They're just jealous they aren't dating you. I feel envious of the guy who is lucky enough to be with you. Naruto said with a smile hoping to lighten the mood. Kurenai blushed at his compliment. Get control of yourself. You're blushing like a school girl. Kurenai screamed to herself. Well the truth is, I'm called the Ice Queen because I refuse so many dates and I don't have a boyfriend. I have never really had a guy friend or even boyfriend for that matter that I could talk to. Kurenai explained. What? You have never had a boyfriend? Somebody with your looks and your personality. They either must be crazy or you must be looking for that special guy. Naruto stated with wisdom beyond his 12-year-old life. Very mature, very handsome, nice body, honest, sweet, caring, damn it Kurenai. Bad stop thinking of Naruto-kun like that. Kurenai scolded herself once again. Kurenai while blushing wildly responded. Thank you for your compliments and I guess you're right I am looking for the right guy. I just don't want to get heartbroken. Kurenai said softly. Naruto got up and walked over to where was sitting and sat right next to her. Kurenai-chan, nobody will ever hurt you. I will make sure of that because if you do date a guy anytime soon I get to meet him and I get to approve him. Naruto said with a smile. Kurenai looked over at Naruto and smiled back with a nod. Alright Naruto-kun. It's a deal. Kurenai replied. Now tell me about yourself. Kurenai asked. Well, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I failed the genin exam, I like ramen, I have very few friends and no family members alive that I know of, but everything isn't so bad. I have a very beautiful woman as a friend named Kurenai, what more could I ask for more? Naruto told Kurenai with a foxy grin causing her to blush an even darker shade. Well thank you Naruto-kun, but what about your childhood? Kurenai asked curiously. Naruto's eyes took a cold look, all the warmth from his eyes left and that saddened Kurenai. I'm sorry Kurenai-chan, but I don't really want to talk about my childhood just yet. Maybe later. Naruto said as his eyes returned to normal. Naruto and Kurenai laughed and joked for the rest of the night, before they went to sleep. Kurenai didn't bring anything other than a couple pairs of clothes she always carried with her because of missions. Since Kurenai didn't bring anything to sleep on, Naruto offered that she could sleep on the air mattress while he would sleep with just a cover. Kurenai didn't allow that, stating that the bed was big enough for two and she wouldn't mind as long as he didn't try anything, she had said with a smile. They both climbed into the bed and quickly fell asleep. Both had enjoyed the night they had together. Naruto and Kurenai laughed and joked for the rest of the night, before they went to sleep. Kurenai didn't bring anything other than a couple pairs of clothes she always carried with her because of missions. Since Kurenai didn't bring anything to sleep on, Naruto offered that she could sleep on the air mattress while he would sleep with just a cover. Kurenai didn't allow that, stating that the bed was big enough for two and she wouldn't mind as long as he didn't try anything, she had said with a smile. They both climbed into the bed and quickly fell asleep. Both had enjoyed the night they had together. Naruto age 12. Naruto mental age 16. Hokage's office. After Anko got back from seeing Naruto. What do you mean Kurenai is staying with Naruto? Sarutobi asked. Anko looked nervous. Shit, don't kill me, was a thought that crossed Anko's mind. Well, Hokage-sama, like I said, Kurenai stayed with Naruto and will be with him for the next 4 weeks. Anko replied. The Hokage paled and suddenly seemed much older than his age. Please no. Kurenai can't tell Naruto about the Kyuubi. The Hokage screamed in thought. That's unacceptable. You go get Kurenai now. Sarutobi yelled. I will not go get her. Anko replied defiantly. What did you just say? Sarutobi asked, thinking he must have misheard her. Anko looked sheepish, but quickly recovered her resolve. Hokage-sama, we both know what that boy has gone through. Kurenai will be good for Naruto. If anything, they will develop a close friend relationship. Tell me that won't be good for Naruto. He has a hard enough time bonding with people. Kurenai will help him. Just give her 4 weeks, I'll even take up Genin team. Anko stated with a grimace at the end. The Hokage was taken aback. It's true, Naruto doesn't seem to have a lot of social skills. He also seems to be holding in a lot of secrets and hurt. Maybe Kurenai will help. Sarutobi thought to himself. Very well, Anko. I will allow Kurenai to stay with Naruto for 3 to 4 weeks depending on when Naruto gets back. You, Anko, will begin immediately as the replacement sensei for Kurenai. You will train them seriously and be on time, or I will have Kurenai retrieved and you will be doing D-rank missions for 4 months. Understood. Sarutobi asked with a gaze that said, don't cross me. I'll make your life living hell. Anko shivered. D-ranks, hate them. Anko screamed in thought. Yes, Lord Hokage. Anko spoke and left. Oh, Anko, be at training ground 8. There you will meet your team. Sarutobi said with a laugh. Those genin are in for a very rough 4 weeks. Sarutobi thought as he watched Anko walk out of the Hokage's office. Present time, morning after Kurenai and Naruto fell asleep. Naruto awoke, but kept his eyes closed. After one of the most fun nights he ever had, Naruto had an amazing night's sleep. So warm. Naruto thought as he tried to stretch his arms. Why can't I move my arms? Naruto asked himself in thought. Opening his eyes, he saw a head of hair, beautiful black hair that smelled oddly like a flower pasture. Full of wonderful smells that just screamed beauty. Oh no, it's Kurenai-chan. She's going to think I'm a perv. Naruto thought, worried of Kurenai's reaction if she woke up to them in this position. Naruto was pressed upright against Kurenai, their bodies meeting and seemingly melting into each other. Naruto tried to move his arms again only to realize his bottom arms was underneath Kurenai, while his other arm was wrapped around Kurenai's waist with Kurenai gripping his arm. Shit. What am I going to do? Naruto thought to himself. Just as Naruto was about to try another tactic, he felt Kurenai release his arm wrapped around her waist. Naruto slowly pulling his arm back felt Kurenai try to snuggle closer into his body, only exciting his already excited member. Damn, Morning Wood. Narumi-chan, you and Raikudo-sensei screwed up my body so much. I'm 12 physically going on 17 mentally. Naruto screamed in thought with frustration. Naruto tried to get his other arm out from under Kurenai only for him to hear a yawn. Naruto paled. Kurenai, not moving from spot, started to speak. Naruto-kun, what are you doing? Kurenai asked. I'm sorry, Kurenai-chan, I awoke to this position. I've been trying to get out of it, but you just let go out of my arm. Naruto stated nervously. Please, don't think I'm a pervert. Even more, don't beat me into a pulp. Naruto though worriedly. Oh, it's okay. Naruto, what am I feeling poking me in my butt? Kurenai asked with a smirk, but was still facing away from Naruto so he couldn't see it. Must be a very healthy boy. For something that big. No bad Kurenai. No dirty thoughts of Naruto-kun. Kurenai scolded herself in thought. Naruto sputtered and somehow managed to wrench his arm under Kurenai free. Naruto was up faster than Kurenai could blink. I'm sorry, Kurenai-chan. Naruto stated while blushing something fierce. No, Naruto-kun, it's okay. I know that guys have a morning situation. Kurenai told Naruto as she got up and turned to look at Naruto. Naruto-kun, what you woke up to is nothing to worry about. Our bodies were probably just cold and wanted warm. It's fine, I do not think badly of you. Kurenai spoke smiling, seeing Naruto looked less worried after what she said. Well then, Kurenai-chan, I'll be going to the stream to grab us a couple fish. Naruto told Kurenai as he headed for the river by the cave. This left Kurenai to her thoughts. I need to get Naruto-kun to open up to me more, but how? Kurenai asked herself. 15 minutes later, Naruto walked back into the cave with 5 fish all strung through with ninja wire. Naruto had his shirt off and was still wet from swimming in the river grabbing fish then throwing them up into the air, only for a clone to throw a kunai and pin it against a tree. As Naruto entered the cave with the already cleaned and scaled fish, Kurenai turned her head to see Naruto with his shirt off. Naruto was glistening from the small fire Kurenai had made in the time Naruto was gone. Kami. So Kami-like. Kurenai screamed to herself while blushing, only to frown as she a massive faded scar right where his heart is. Naruto-kun, how did you get that scar? The one right where your heart is? Kurenai asked. Naruto continued to walk to the fire and placed them on spits. Once he was finished, he turned to see Kurenai right before him. Kurenai slowly reached her hand to touch the scar only for Naruto to loosely grab her wrist. Kurenai looked up to see the sad eyes of Naruto. Please, Naruto-kun. Kurenai whispered looking back down at the scar. Naruto slowly let go of her hand, letting his hand drop to his side. Kurenai continued her hand to his chest and traced his scar. Kurenai, taking her eyes off the scar, looked up to Naruto, continuing tracing the scar. What happened, Naruto-kun? Kurenai asked sadly. Naruto looked away with a single tear streaking down his face. It was when I had become friends with this girl when I was 4 years old. Her name was Amy, we had become best friends. We did everything together, played, ate, slept next each other. I even remember once we pulled a prank on the Hokage. Naruto told Kurenai with a small smile while another tear cascaded down his face. After a couple months of being the best of friends, her father found out that she was hanging out with the demon of the village. Being enraged by the fact his little girl had been even in contact with the demon. Finding us alone at the playground one day, he stormed up and took Amy by her hand and threw away from me. Amy hit a tree and passed out. He came after me. I fought him the best I could, but he was a dropped-out genin and I stood no chance. He plunged a kunai deep into my chest, saying to stay away from his daughter. I blacked out only to wake up in the hospital. I immediately rushed out of my hospital room. I pulled a couple stitches out of my chest, blood was running from my chest wound down my stomach. I was trying to find Amy. After nearly an hour of screaming her name and running, I couldn't find her. The Hokage came and restrained me. I was pulled back into my room where my stitches were reapplied. I found out a day later that my best friend Amy was dead. The hit to her head had been too much for her. She couldn't take the blow and died of internal bleeding and a cracked skull. Naruto choked at this point, tears streaming down his face from having to relive one of his most horrific memories. I still visit her. She was my first friend. My only friend. We had plans of being ninja together. It was all my fault. If IWWOU would have just stayed away from her, she would still be alive. Naruto broke down and Kurenai wrapped him into a hug. It's okay, Naruto-kun. It's okay. Kurenai told Naruto as she led him over to one of the stumps in the cave. Leaning back against the stump, she pulled Naruto down and put his head in her lap, playing with his hair and wiping the tears from her face. I can't believe Naruto-kun has been through something like that. When he was only 4, no less. Kurenai was interrupted from her though as she heard Naruto speak. Kurenai-chan, it's best to stay away from. People close to me only get hurt. Naruto spoke sadly. Kurenai shook her head. No, Naruto-kun, I will not leave you. I'm sorry that something like that happened to you, but I'll be here for you. I won't abandon you. Kurenai spoke softly, but with her voice held determination, showing she would never go back on her word. Naruto looked at her for a minute and gave a soft smile. Kurenai-chan, I believe that you will learn my whole life story. I'm glad that you and I will be friends. Naruto spoke truthfully with the tears ending. Kurenai gave a soft smile and nod. Naruto, I'll be here for you. If you need somebody to talk to, come to me. If you need somebody to train with, ask me. If you just want to spend some time with me, don't be afraid to come to training ground 8. I'll give you the directions some other time. For now, just rest. Kurenai said with a smile. Naruto nodded, and from how comfortable he was, fell asleep. That should not happen to anybody, but that's all going to change. I won't let you be alone anymore, Naruto. I'll be there for you no matter what. Kurenai thought to herself as she looked down and smiled at the sleeping blonde. Time skip, 4 weeks. Naruto and Kurenai continued to get closer and closer until one day Naruto had decided to tell Kurenai who he truly was and how powerful he was. Kurenai didn't believe him at first, but with the help of Narumi, Kurenai quickly had her doubts cancelled. Naruto was trying to convince Kurenai who his senseis were and just how he got so strong. It wasn't until Narumi told Naruto to touch Kurenai on the forehead that she believed. Narumi gave Kurenai glimpses of Naruto's memories with a narration explaining to her that everything Naruto is telling her was true. Unknown to Naruto, Narumi told Kurenai that Naruto had grown feeling for her and that if Kurenai didn't return those feelings to let him down easy, for if she didn't, Narumi would somehow escape and unleash havoc upon her. Kurenai responded with she had been growing feeling for Naruto and she would return them soon. Kurenai and Naruto were heading back to the village because Naruto had to return to the academy and Kurenai had to return to her team. As Naruto and Kurenai neared the village, Kurenai suddenly grabbed Naruto, pinned him to a tree, frightening Naruto. Kurenai smiled warmly, something that she had been doing quite a lot for being called the Ice Queen of Konoha. Kurenai stared into the cerulean eyes that had captured her in the last few weeks. Kurenai leaned down slowly while wrapping her arms around Naruto's shoulders. Slowly she inched closer to Naruto's lips. Naruto, who was frightened at first by her actions, were too stunned now to do anything and just let Kurenai continue her course. Kurenai finished the travel and kissed Naruto with passion and emotion. Naruto was dazed by the kiss, but quickly recovered himself and quickly wrapped his arms around her waist and kissed back, matching the passion and the emotion. After the need for breath had become too great, they separated, panting for breath. Kurenai gave Naruto a shy smile while Naruto gave her a quick kiss on the lips. I've been wanting to do that, Naruto admitted while hugging her closer to him. Me too, Kurenai stated shyly while laying her head on his chest. Hiruzen Sarutobi, who had been watching on his crystal ball, smiled so widely it seemed it would split his face. I'm glad for you, Naruto. I'll have to speak to you later about what you trained on, but for now I think I'll leave you alone. Hiruzen thought to himself as he shut off his crystal ball. Naruto-kun, I know that it might be hard, but if you want to have a relationship then we'll have to wait until you become a chunin. Kurenai spoke with sadness, but also hope as she really wanted to be with Naruto. Kurenai-chan, Naruto whispered as he took a hand and wiped some of Kurenai's hair that had fallen in her face to behind her ear. I would love to be your boyfriend, Naruto stated with a smile. Kurenai let her nervousness pass at hearing those words and quickly captured Naruto's lips for another passionate kiss in which Naruto returned immediately. After parting, they just stood against the tree Naruto had been forcefully pushed up against. Kurenai-chan, why do we have to wait until I'm a chunin? Are you embarrassed of me? Naruto asked, mock pouting. Kurenai looked up, afraid she had offended or hurt the boy no man that she had grown so fond of in the past weeks. Seeing that he was only kidding, slapped his shoulder playfully, which got a smile out of them both. Well, Naruto-kun, seeing as how you're still only a academy student, I could technically be put in jail for having a relationship with a minor. Kurenai-chan, we have done anything intimate, yet? Naruto whispered in her ear with a foxy grin. Kurenai blushed and once again slapped his shoulder a bit more forcefully. Pervert. You're lucky I like you so much. I know, but even so it could still be very bad. Then when you're a genin it would make a lot of noise and we would more than likely be forced to split. Kurenai said with frown. But as a chunin we won't have to hide our relationship. This sucks, I know, but I would rather us not split up because of annoyances. I'm sorry we have to wait to make it public, but please you must understand, don't be mad. Kurenai spoke softly while looking at the ground. Naruto smiled and lifted her head. First off, Kurenai-chan, don't ever think I'm mad at you. Secondly, I understand perfectly. Thirdly, can we still make public if I become a junin? I mean, you did say chunin. Just have to be clear. Naruto asked with a smile. Kurenai smiled. Naruto-kun, of course it counts. Kurenai replied with a quick kiss. Good, but we really need to get going, Kurenai-chan. I need to head to the academy and your team was informed of your return. Naruto stated. Kurenai nodded and reluctantly let go of Naruto, releasing her pin on him. Fine, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled. Watch this. Naruto spoke as he grabbed Kurenai, held by her waist and activated his dujutsu. They were gone and standing in the Hokage office. Kurenai was shocked. Kurenai spluttered, while the Hokage looked up from his paper and saw Naruto with his hands around Kurenai's waist with a smile and a shocked face spoke. So, Naruto-kun, you and Kurenai? Must say that I'm kinda surprised. I saw you guys kiss through this, but didn't expect you to be so public with the relationship. Sarutobi asked them while he lifted the crystal ball up. Naruto quickly deactivated his dujutsu, not wishing to get caught with one of the most powerful and rare dujutsus in the world. Gigi, don't spy on me, pervert. Naruto stated with his eye twitching at hearing his Gigi had seen them kiss. Kurenai blushed, but still was shocked from what just happened. Naruto-kun, what just happened? Kurenai asked. Yes, Naruto, how did you make it in my office without me noticing? Sarutobi asked. Naruto smiled at Kurenai and quickly flashed his dujutsu. Kurenai understood immediately, but was still shocked. While Naruto looked at Sarutobi and spoke. Well, Gigi, you see. It's a secret, he answered with a smile. I'll tell you about my training later, right now I have to get to the academy. Naruto continued. Oh no you don't. I had Enko pick up some clothes for you, you're coming with me. Kurenai demanded as she shunshined to her house. Naruto and Kurenai appeared in Kurenai's living room. Kurenai pushed Naruto down on a couch and told him to stay. Kurenai went to her room and grabbed a pair of clothes that would flatter Naruto. Rushing back to the living room, she handed him a black muscle shirt with a red Uzumaki symbol on it and a red nine-tailed fox on his side. Kurenai then handed him dark gray pants that had black lines on the sides coming from his ankle to his hip. Kurenai then handed him a pair of boxers and new ninja sandals. They were black. Naruto accepted the gifts and gave Kurenai a quick kiss. You don't have to act the part of the village idiot anymore, Naruto-kun. Kurenai stated with a smile. Naruto quickly ditched his jacket and his undershirt, which was replaced with his new black muscle shirt. Kurenai left the living room to allow Naruto to quickly change. Naruto shed his sandals, pants, and underwear, quickly replacing them all with the gifts Kurenai had gotten for Naruto. Naruto snuck into the kitchen where he quickly turned Kurenai and gave her a deep kiss. Thanks, Kurenai-chan. Naruto said with a smile as he noticed Kurenai looked a little dazed. Kurenai regained her composure. You're welcome, Naruto-kun. I have some more clothes for you, but hurry up and head to the academy. It should be interesting this year. Kurenai stated with a huge smile. Naruto returned the smile and gave Kurenai another quick kiss. See ya, Kurenai-chan. Naruto said. Naruto stepped back in sunshine to a academy bathroom. This year should definitely be interesting, Naruto spoke to himself. Naruto returned the smile and gave Kurenai another quick kiss. See ya, Kurenai-chan. Naruto said. Naruto stepped back in sunshine to a academy bathroom. This year should definitely be interesting, Naruto spoke to himself. Naruto walked out of the bathroom and looked out down both ends of the hall. I can't believe I have to do this again. Naruto spoke to himself while sighing. Might as well get over it. Not like I can do anything about it now. Naruto thought to himself. Naruto walked down the hall that led to his classroom. Reaching the classroom, Naruto took a deep breath. Entering the room, he could see about 30 kids in the class, instantly recognizing Hanabi and Konohamaru. Naruto walked over to Iruka to say hello. What's up, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked. Iruka turned around smiling as he heard the voice of a child he had high hopes for. Naruto, how have you been? Iruka asked as he took in Naruto's new appearance. The class stopped their conversations and looked down to see a boy talking to their sensei. Hey, Iruka-sensei, who is that? A girl with carrot orange hair asked. Well, Moegi, this is Naruto. He'll be with us this year. Iruka replied. Ha ha ha. That's that kid who couldn't even pass the exams. A random boy laughed out. The class erupted into laughter besides Konohamaru, Hanabi, and Iruka. Naruto remained stoically quiet, waiting for the class to stop laughing. The kids, seeing no reaction, stopped, wondering what was up with this kid. Naruto slowly walked to the very back of the room, where he proceeded to sit down in at a desk located near no one and fell asleep. Iruka sighed. Yap. Gonna be a long year for you, Naruto. Iruka thought to himself. Iruka started roll call while checking anybody he knew was there off. Konohamaru and Hanabi, who had been sitting next to each other, looked back at the blonde. I wonder what's up with him. I definitely don't feel like he could fail, unless he wanted to. Konohamaru whispered to Hanabi, to which she nodded in agreement. Doesn't matter, I'll beat him and show him who is the best in this class. Hanabi whispered back, to which Konohamaru rolled his eyes. Yeah, sure you are. What happened to me? I thought we were rivals, because as I recall you haven't really beaten me in anything. Konohamaru whispered with a chuckle. Hanabi stayed quiet, just looking at Naruto. Iruka had finished the roll call. Alright class, this is a question for your opinion. There is no right or wrong answer. I want you all to answer it truthfully. Iruka stated loudly so everybody could hear. Who do you think is the most powerful Hokage? Iruka asked. Iruka got many answers, mostly the third or the fourth. Hanabi answered fourth, in which Iruka sighed, and then Konohamaru answered third, which was expected, but Iruka still was disappointed. The point of this question is to get them to think about the question and discover what makes them strong and weak. No Hokage is truly stronger than the other. Sure, the fourth is clearly more powerful than the second, but the point is, if you were to all put them in their prime, they would all have different advantages, but ultimately it would all come to play out on what type of terrain they were fighting on and what mindset they were in. Iruka thought to himself, hoping that one of his students would get it. Iruka was hoping that his would be Hanabi or Konohamaru, as they are the most promising academy students they have, but alas, he was disappointed. That is until he got to Naruto. Alright Naruto, who do you think the strongest Hokage is? Iruka asked. Naruto looked to be asleep and Iruka was about to yell at him, until he heard Naruto speak. That is a completely opinion-based answer, as you said, but the question is kinda dumb. All the Hokages have something special about them. For the first it was his wood ability, for the second it was him being able to manifest water from the water molecules around him, for the third it is how cunning and ninjutsu powerful he is, and for the fourth it was his Hirishin and Rasengan, in which he is usually named the most powerful. I for one do not believe that any are stronger than the other. They all have their flaws and strengths. If you know how to expose those flaws, then even the mightiest could fall. Therefore, unless you know how strategy-driven each Hokage was, you don't know who truly was stronger. Naruto answered with him peeking a look at the class, then resting his head on the desk again. Iruka sat there shocked. What the hell? Iruka shouted in thought. Very nice answer, Naruto. Iruka told Naruto. The class was staring wide-eyed at Naruto. Naruto just confirmed Konohamaru's and Hanabi's suspicions. No way an answer like that came from a dead last. Hanabi whispered to Konohamaru as he nodded. Naruto stayed motionless. Narumi-chan, how are you today? Naruto asked. Narumi smirked. Well, Naruto-kun, kinda boring, until you just shocked the class. Ha 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 ha. Did you see their faces? They looked like you grew a second head. Ha 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 ha. Narumi rolled around in her cage laughing like a mad person. Wiping a tear that had come from excessive laughing, Narumi got serious. Naruto-kun, you know that you are only supposed to somewhere near the middle of the class. So don't be getting all philosophical on the class. Oh, by the way, I think it will be easier if you just sleep in the class and ace the exam finals. That way you'll be the dead last, but easily make it through. Narumi gave her advice. Oh, come on, Narumi-chan. Why can't I just the rookie of the year? I'm sick of holding back. Naruto declared. Narumi just sighed. Naruto-kun, I know that you hate holding back so much, but you truly can't show how powerful you are. How is it gonna look when Kurenai is looking for you and finds that you were kidnapped? Do you want Kurenai to be all alone? Plus you may be able to take 3, maybe 4 Anbu by yourself, but you can't take 10, and I'm positive that if you suddenly shot up to Rookie of the Year you will draw a lot of attention. Some good, some bad? Narumi asked. Naruto was saddened by the thought of Kurenai being alone. Okay, Narumi-chan, I'll be dead last again. That was below the belt thought, using my feelings for Kurenai-chan against me. Naruto replied. Sorry, Naruto-kun, but you need to realize that people see you as the Kyuubi. They're afraid of you, and if you suddenly become the strongest academy student, I just have a feeling that you might have a lot of people after you. For your death or for the power of the Kyuubi. Sorry I put so much strain on your life, Naruto-kun. Narumi stated sadly. No need to worry about it, Narumi-chan. All I have to do is act like a dobi and then I get to have some fun being a genin. Won't be too hard. Naruto replied. Narumi-chan, I'm going to sleep, so if you wish to speak with me, call me into my mindscape. Naruto told Narumi. Naruto promptly fell asleep thinking. This is going to be a boring year. Time skip 1 year. Naruto-kun, get up, you need to go to school. Kurenai told Naruto while sitting on their bed. Naruto lazily got up and wiped his eyes, removing the sleep from them. Good morning, Kurenai-chan. Naruto replied as he got off the bed. Looking around, Naruto was confused about why he was even here. Kurenai-chan, why am I here? I thought you wanted to get us on the down low until I reach Chunin in rank. Naruto asked. Well, Naruto-kun, we were sparring and I sort of put you under a genjutsu. Kurenai explained while she looked down at her feet. Naruto began to trying to recall the activities of yesterday. Alright, I remember eating ramen, training, sparring, and then. You made me see you. Naruto yelled out. Kurenai blushed, but nodded her head. Hey, it's not my fault you're such a closet pervert. All I did was the genjutsu and you flew back from a nosebleed and hit your head on a tree. Kurenai explained. I'm not a closet pervert. Anybody who sees a beautiful woman like you would get a nosebleed. Naruto stated. Naruto-kun, that was cheesy, but thanks for the compliment. Kurenai stated. Naruto sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. Kurenai-chan, that was so not cool. We haven't gone farther than making out and you show me that. Not even fair. Naruto told Kurenai while pouting. Oh, be quiet, Naruto-kun. Kurenai replied. Naruto continued to pout, but got up and gave Kurenai a kiss. Bye, Kurenai-chan, thanks for taking me back to your place. Naruto stated. No problem, Naruto-kun. Kurenai replied. Naruto left house with his shirt off. Oh, this could be a bad image. What if somebody sees me leaving Kurenai-chan's house with my shirt off? Naruto asked himself in thought. Figuring out the only outcomes would more than likely be bad, he shunshined back to his apartment. Naruto quickly went to his bathroom where he proceeded to take a quick shower and do the morning rituals. Naruto stepped out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. Oh shit, I'm gonna be late. Naruto yelled at himself. Naruto quickly got dressed, pulling on the clothes he got from Kurenai. Once done, he quickly shunshined into bathroom and ran out like a madman. Shit. Gonna be late. Gonna be late. Gonna be late. Naruto yelled to himself in thought. Naruto entered the classroom with 10 seconds to spare. Oh, good to see you, Naruto. Iruka told Naruto. Naruto nodded and walked to the back of the classroom. Alright, class, today is the graduation exam. I wish you all luck and know that you always have next year to graduate. Iruka yelled loud enough for everybody to hear. Iruka passed out all of the tests and was standing in front of his desk. Alright, class, you'll have 50 minutes to complete this test. Begin. Iruka yelled. Everybody quickly started the test, that is expect Naruto, who lazily began it looking bored. 1. Easy first Hokage. 2. Ha ha ha, wow, super easy the Kyuubi. Naruto thought to himself. The test went on like that for Naruto, and within 20 minutes he finished the test and walked up to the teacher's desk and handed it in. Walking back to his desk, he proceeded to fall asleep. 30 minutes later. Alright, class, pencils down and turn in your test if you haven't already. I want everybody to head outside for the accuracy exam. Iruka yelled out. Everybody headed outside hoping to do alright. Once everybody was situated, Iruka started to call out contestants, or tried to. Alright, first up is. Wait, Iruka-sensei, would it be alright if I went first? I want to be able to go to sleep soon. Naruto explained the reason why he wanted to go first. Iruka's sweat dropped, but allowed him to go. Alright, Naruto, go ahead. Naruto casually walked up to the kunai which were supplied for the exam and threw them all at the training dummy. All hitting the bull's eye. How was that, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked as he grabbed the shuriken and whipped them, embedding them within another training dummy in the bull's eye. Naruto casually walked back to the tree he had been sleeping under last year and sat down. Iruka was shocked, as was the rest of the class. Naruto, perfect score. Nobody has done that since Itachi Uchiha. Iruka stated while having his jaw to the ground. Naruto shrugged and fell asleep. 30 minutes later. Alright, class, time for the taijutsu portion of the test. Iruka called out. Everybody headed over to the sparring arena. Hanabi and Naruto, please step forward. Iruka yelled out. Naruto walked to one end of the arena while Hanabi walked to the other. I want a clean fight. No ninjutsu, strictly taijutsu. Iruka stated. Hanabi nodded while Naruto looked bored. Hey Hanabi-chan, I have a deal for you. Naruto called out. Hanabi looked mad. Don't call me Chan Udobi. Hanabi screamed. Alright, fine Hanabi, if you can hit me twice I'll never try to be a ninja again. Naruto told Hanabi. The class was shocked. This was a Hyuga, a taijutsu specialist. Nobody could not get hit by one. Hanabi smirked. Alright, but what do you get? Hanabi asked. Like I said in the Hokage's office the day we met, I just want you to tolerate me. Naruto stated with a shrug. Alright, I get to rid Konoha of a dead last and prove to everybody I'm the strongest student in the class. Hanabi stated. Oh, what? You still mad when I showed you up in that debate? I mean, come on, that just knowledge. You can't win at everything. Naruto stated lazily as he sat down. What are you doing? Iruka asked. Just begin. Naruto replied. Iruka shook his head, wishing Naruto a clean and swift death. Begin. Iruka yelled out. Hanabi was seething with rage from the debate being brought up. As soon as the match started, Hanabi sprinted towards Naruto. Naruto remained sitting watching Hanabi. Hanabi went in with the Hyuga's family taijutsu stance, causing Naruto to smirk. Just as Hanabi was about to land a blow, Naruto used his hands to push himself off the ground and fling himself backwards. Getting into a stance, he shocked his teacher and Hanabi. You shouldn't know the snake taijutsu stance. Hanabi yelled out. Naruto laughed. Ha 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 ha. You think I use the snake taijutsu? No, I use something much more deadly. Naruto replied with a grin, causing Hanabi to lose her temper even more. Rushing at Naruto, she went in for a kill shot. Iruka saw this and was about to move until he saw he would be too late. What shocked him is that Naruto grabbed Hanabi's wrist and flung her over his bed, making her hit with the arena's floor hard. Tisk tisk tisk. Hanabi, you should know better to try and take an opponent head on. Even if it is a dead last like me. Naruto scowled. Don't you criticize me. Hanabi yelled as she got up. Naruto appeared behind Hanabi and wrapped an arm around her waist and wrapped his other arm around her neck. Naruto spun in a 360 motion and jumped into the air. Falling back down while spinning, he stopped and made Hanabi cushion the fall. Iruka-sensei, I suggest you call the match. Naruto called out. Naruto got up and picked up Hanabi bridal style. Winner is Naruto Uzumaki. Iruka yelled out. The class was silent as Naruto parted through the crowd with a beat-up Hanabi in his arms. Naruto sat down against his favorite tree with Hanabi in his lap, her head leaning on his shoulder. Naruto, get me off your lap now. Hanabi whispered furiously. Listen to me, Hanabi, you must stay still. I am going to do a healing jutsu on you. I'm sorry, but it seems I broke your arms when we impacted. Naruto explained. Naruto began to the healing jutsu. The jutsu was red-colored and slightly frightened Hanabi, but she quickly got over it as the pain in her left arm was receding. Thank you, Naruto. Hanabi whispered. It's not a problem, we're both going to be Konoha ninja, so we might as well help each other out. Naruto whispered back. Hanabi got nervous. Naruto, can I get off your lap now? Hanabi asked. Wow, the daughter of Lord Hyuga is not acting like a noble. Why is that? Is it because you're sitting on a boy's lap? Naruto teased. Hanabi blushed and slid off of Naruto's lap. Shut up. Hanabi whispered. Hanabi's blush receded and she got to thinking. Naruto, why are you the dead last? I mean, I don't know you very well, but you are far stronger than you appear. Hanabi whispered. Naruto sighed. Ah, so you noticed. I'll explain it to you if we become good friends, other than that I can't tell you. Naruto whispered. Hanabi looked sad. Naruto, I'm sorry. Hanabi stated. Hanabi, what are you sorry for? Naruto asked, confused. Well, for everything. I have belittled you this year, scolded you for acting dumb, and finally I'm sorry for calling you dead last all those times. Hanabi whispered quietly. Naruto, I just don't know how to deal with new people who want to be my friend. I grew up in the Hyuga compound. I only have one friend and that's Konohamaru. Hanabi spoke quietly. Hanabi, it's fine. Apology is accepted. Let's just sit here and wait for the next portion of the test. Naruto stated, to which Hanabi nodded in agreement. 40 minutes later. Alright, class, it's time for the ninjutsu portion. Head inside. Iruka yelled out. Hanabi and Naruto headed inside where they sat together in the back of the class. Konohamaru looked around the classroom and spotted Hanabi with Naruto, walking to the back of the classroom with a confused look on his face. Hanabi, I thought you hated Naruto. Konohamaru asked. No, I don't, Konohamaru, I was just. I don't know. I think we're friends now. Are we friends, Naruto? Hanabi asked hopefully. Naruto turned to Hanabi with a smile. Of course we are, Hanabi. Naruto exclaimed. Hanabi and Konohamaru both smiled. Hanabi for getting a new friend and Konohamaru seeing that Hanabi made a new friend. Konohamaru, how did you do? Naruto asked. I did alright, I won if that's what you're asking. Konohamaru stated. Naruto gave a thumbs up and a smile, while Hanabi just gave a smile. Nice. Naruto stated. Iruka walked into the classroom to see Konohamaru sitting down by Naruto with Hanabi on the other side of Naruto. Smiling, Iruka called out. Naruto Uzumaki, you will be the first up, for the Hokage sent a messenger and he wishes to talk to you. Iruka yelled out. Naruto got a confused look on his face, but headed down to Iruka. Alright, Iruka-sensei. Let's get this going, Naruto exclaimed with enthusiasm. Iruka smiled and nodded. Alright Naruto, just do the Henge no Jutsu, the substitution jutsu, and the clone jutsu. Iruka told Naruto. Naruto nodded and started with the Henge no Jutsu. Going through hand signs quickly, Naruto yelled out, Henge no Jutsu. In Naruto's place there stood the third Hokage. Good Naruto, Iruka encouraged. Naruto released the Henge and immediately started on the substitution jutsu. Going through hand signs. Substitution jutsu. In Naruto's place stood the third Hokage, giggling perversely with an orange book in his hand. Iruka's sweat dropped. Hokage-sama, Iruka called out. The Hokage looked up and blushed. Oh Iruka, how are you today? Sarutobi asked. Hokage-sama, I never realized that you were a closet pervert. Iruka stated. Sarutobi's sweat dropped and was about to respond, but was replaced with Naruto. So Iruka-sensei, how did you like my closet pervert grandfather? Naruto asked as Konohamaru burst out laughing. Naruto smiled and rubbed the back of his head. Naruto, don't do that again please. Iruka pleaded. Naruto nodded his head and started on the clone jutsu. Clone jutsu. Naruto yelled out, which produced two sickly-looking clones. Iruka and Naruto sweat dropped. Iruka was about to fail him until Naruto screamed out. Oh this. Naruto put his hand in all too well-known hand sign. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto yelled out and there stood 20 Narutos. Iruka gasped. No way. Iruka yelled with his jaw almost touching the ground. Alright, Iruka-sensei, I'll just take this and be on my way. Naruto stated as he released the clones and grabbed the headband. Naruto ran out of the classroom. Iruka just stood there in shock. Eventually he came back. Alright, Hanabi, you're up. Iruka yelled out. Naruto was out of the classroom and down the street until he slowed down to a walk. Naruto looked down at the headband and gave a huge fox-like grin. Finally, Naruto thought to himself. Naruto placed the headband up to his forehead and tied it. Now then, what could Gigi want with me? Naruto asked himself. Naruto-kun, what the hell? You just had to make 20 shadow clones, didn't you? God, I swear if you keep that up, somebody's going to send a assassination team after you. Narumi scolded. Naruto nodded sheepishly. Sorry Narumi-chan. Naruto replied. Walking down the street heading towards the Hokage's office, Naruto just couldn't help but wonder what awaited him. I deeply apologize for any and all of the loyal readers who have been waiting and wanting my next chapter to come out. I have been extremely busy and have not had the time to sit down and write out chapters for my stories, as such I will be scraping them or letting people adopt them. I lost so many of my saved chapters right around when I stopped writing that I said screw it. I have lost all of my direction to all 3 of my stories. I had stopped reading fanfiction for a couple months due to how busy I was. I had 2 days for footballs and was so exhausted I simply didn't want to do anything. I then had the football season and training to get bigger. Then I had and still have off season and I have been training, lifting, running, doing about every goddamn thing that's possible to get myself bigger. Besides roids, I'm going to be starting another story. This one will be finished, I promise. And it's promise of a lifetime, or some shit like that _. Anyways, my story will be based around Naruto and his road to glory. The Naruto I have planned will be interesting if you have read anything that I have written so far. It's not going to be your completely obvious OMG super strong godlike Naruto WHO will eat your soul. No, this Naruto will still be strong for his age, hell for any age, but will not be the complete super house he has been in my stories, at least in the beginning. I hope that a lot of my loyal readers and reviewers will trade my current stories and read the next one. It pains me so much to put it out there that I won't be writing those original stories anymore, but it must be done. I just can't simply keep up with 3 stories. I'll do one for now. If you're interested in adopting any of my stories, message me. Thanks for being so patient and sorry for not being a loyal updater.